20 Centra. If you try it, you'll buy it. They're that good. Fun.
So come see us.
Or call us at 706-273-9347.
Or 770-894-7898.
And find out how Woodman Life can help you leave memories, not expenses. Woodman Life, standing strong for generations.
As an athlete, you put it all on the line each and every day. Training, skill, and dedication. It's with these same characteristics that Pinnacle Orthopedics puts it all on the line for you, ensuring that you continue to play the game you love. With 5 locations and 16 physicians and surgeons, Pinnacle Orthopedics is the team physician for Kennesaw State University, as well as for many other schools and teams. Using only the latest technologies, Pinnacle Orthopedics is dedicated to keeping you at the top of your game.
Welcome back into the Children's Health Club Atlanta Cherokee pregame show. I am your host, Will Cooper, and I'm joined alongside a very special guest,
Arthur Mosley. Yes.
As I remember now. And I was going to say, Von Brown is normally the man that sits to the left of me and fills in this role.
Right.
But, unfortunately for him, due to his comments on the recent podcasts, so I give you guys 3 shout-outs every game, and that one is going to be the first one here.
Okay.
Friday nights at the Tavern.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so there's one burn, so you got 2 more. But looking at that, obviously he's had some controversies come up in his commentary with River Ridge, so when he came into the gate, they blocked him out, so he wasn't allowed. Dave Garner said that he would protest alongside him, so Dave is staying home for that. I'm totally kidding. Spoke to Dave today. He's doing good. We talked on the phone for a while, so he's doing good. He's just a little bit under the weather. He was negative for COVID, so good news there, but he's just a little bit under the weather, so we told him, obviously, to stay home out of the cold because it's going to get a little chilly tonight. You'll hear the wind blowing behind our backs here, even with the windscreens on the mics, but we're excited to bring you this matchup. So, Art, before we get into this one, let's take a look at the other county games around this area. The first other inter-county game that we have is Cherokee and Etowah. Cherokee comes into this game 6-1, wins against Carver, Sequoia, Rome, Creekview, Cartersville, and Woodstock. What a lineup. And suffered their first loss against Roswell last week, 35-28, in a real heartbreaker over there. You were there for that one. Mm-hmm. We know you're a Roswell homer, so we'll let you answer for yourself over there. Etowah 0-6, but they've had a tough schedule. Looking at Creekview, River Ridge, North Forsyth, North Cobb, Roswell, and Milton. Those are no easy tasks for anybody. Cherokee's a 31-point favorite according to my rankings, a 29-point favorite according to CalPreps. You had picked them by 28 points. Patrick O'Shea over at the Cherokee Tribune has picked them by 25 points, and the Maxwell ratings have them at a 31-point favorite as well. Etowah leads the series all-time 19-17, so real close over there. Kemper is 2-2 all-time against Shaw and Cherokee. Now, listen, he hasn't coached at Etowah for those years, so those were his times at Roswell. And Shaw is 3-5 all-time against Etowah, over there. So, Art, you've looked at that game a little bit more in depth than I have. Tell me a little bit about what you expect into that one.
Well, first of all, throw all the records out the window book, records out of the window, record book out of the window. I'm going to get it here. I mean, you got to take the training wheels off, right? This is the longest standing rivalry in the county. It'll be the 37th meeting tonight. Etowah is facing an uphill battle. They haven't been able to get a lot of things going offensively, and we've talked extensively about some of their issues, so we don't want to beat a dead horse here, proverbially. But you got a team of Cherokee's probably looking to get some things straightened out, and not a whole lot went wrong for them last week, but defensively they got to make some adjustments there. Robbie Roper and those the two Ryans at running back over there for Roswell really did a good job. And then there's a couple of breaks that didn't go Cherokee's way last week. A snap that went over the quarterback's head on 4th down, and then a fumble they didn't get that Roswell was able to get. So the ball bounced different ways, but we didn't expect 35 points to be given up by Cherokee last week. I think they right this week. Look, Etowah's averaging 7.3 points a game. They're allowing 27.8. Clivert Manny, 4th leading rusher in the county with 481 yards and 4 touchdowns. Will Curcio, though, only 344 yards passing, no touchdowns, so that's got to be something they correct. I don't know if I think there's improvement week to week, but a defense like this with Cherokee, very difficult for Etowah tonight, I believe, Will.
Right you are. You'll hear the River Ridge Marching Band playing before us here. That's because the halftime show, it is homecoming here for the River Ridge Knights. So homecoming will be a little bit of an extended halftime show for us. They're going to go ahead and get their playing done here. Of course, we're glad to see. We were talking about at the beginning of the season. We weren't sure with COVID and all that stuff that we would get to see the cheerleaders and the marching band. So the fact that we do is a really nice touch for us. We're glad to make it feel a little bit more like Friday nights. The other county team in action for tonight, at least, is Riverwood and Creekview. Riverwood comes into this matchup 3-2. Their 3 wins are two of their wins are out of the region, North Springs and Woodward Academy. They have beaten Centennial. Their 2 losses are to 2 good teams, Johns Creek and River Ridge. And Creekview on the other side of that coin comes into this one 4-2. Wins against Etowah, Woodstock, Sequoia, and Cambridge. And their 2 losses are to 2 very good teams as well, Cherokee and River Ridge. Creekview a 6-point favorite according to my rankings, a 9-point favorite according to Cal Preps, an 8-point favorite according to your rankings. Pat has them picked at 10, and Maxwell has them at a 2-touchdown lead. Creekview leads the all-time series 2-1 in this one. Really kind of a battle for that second seed in that region. It's a big game over there at East Cherokee.
Well, let's not get carried away too soon about that second seed. Creekview still has a way they can back into that number 1 spot. They're going to need a lot of help, and they're going to have to take care of business tonight against a Riverwood team that's got a talented quarterback in Mr. Avery Smith, and he's got an amazing receiver in Donovan Logan. One thing I wanted to mention about Riverwood's 3 wins, none of them have come against teams with a winning record. So a team that we highly ranked because of their run last year in 5A, but I'm not sure they've seen a defense like Creekview's got. You got Isaac Hubert, Grant Anderson, 64 total tackles, 10 for loss. The Creekview defense, I believe it was 30 team sacks on the season. Brody Rose going at 730 yards, 4 touchdowns. The one thing I would say is Creekview's got to fix the turnovers. They had a lot last week that cost them. Rose has got 6 interceptions on the season, so that's got to be something they fix, and they got to hold on to that football. If they do that, I think I called it 8. I think it could be 14, 17, 20 points this week because I think that defense is just that good.
Creekview's defense is very good. Keep in mind they held this River Ridge team to 20 points, and it took them 5 times to do it. Now we're going to jump out of our county even for a little bit here. We got North Hall and Gilmer. Gilmer having a home game there. Gilmer 3-3, 3 wins against Murray County, East Jackson, and Lumpkin County. Their 3 losses are to good teams, Pickens, Cherokee Bluff, and Dawson County. North Hall is who they will be facing. They are 4-3. Their 4 wins against Chestatee, West Hall, White County, and Lumpkin County. Their 3 losses are to Paulding County, Stephens County, and Hart County. North Hall is a 5-point favorite according to Cal Preps and a 10-point favorite according to the Maxwell ratings. And North Hall leads the series all-time 5-9. Really kind of a battle over there for one of those last playoff spots. Keep in mind that's the region with Dawson County and Cherokee Bluff, which a lot of people will be able to tell you is on a different level than those teams right now. But a push for the playoffs could happen with one of these 2 teams. Tell me a little about what you're looking for in that matchup as we get to top out of your normal coverage area.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you what, you've got a matchup between 2 teams that are extremely run-heavy. The folks in LJ know it's Kobe Stonecipher. He's got 777 yards, 7 touchdowns. He leads the team in rushing. Gilmer's only thrown the ball 22 times this season. So that's something that we know this could be a fast-running game here. You mentioned it before, but Gilmer needs to win 2 of their last 3 games on the schedule to keep their playoff hopes alive, and this is one of them they have to have. North Hall comes into this winning 4 straight games. They're averaging about 26.5 a game, but they're giving up 27 points a game, so something to look for there. They again, like Gilmer, North Hall averaging about 268 yards on the ground a game. The last 4 games, though, North Hall's gotten it figured out, averaging 39.2 points per game. The Bobcats are going to have their hands full tonight slowing down Kevin Rochester, their leading running back, and Clark Howell. Those guys, Clark Howell already over 1,000 yards for North Hall. Rochester with 592 yards. Both those guys combined for 21 touchdowns on the season for the North Hall Trojans.
I'll tell you one thing I do like about your review right there. Stonecipher with 777 yards and 7 touchdowns. That's a lot of lucky numbers going in right there. Hitting the jackpot over there in Gilmer County. I meant to say LJ there. Please don't hate me, Gilmer fans. Pickens is obviously out of action. They've been canceled due to COVID. So while these other school districts may have been closed for the past couple of days with power outages and stuff like that, as we mentioned in the opening of the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Cherokee pregame show, Pickens has been out for a while due to COVID, so this is another game that's been canceled for them, so they will be out of action this week. Looking to get back into action next week, though. This will be their second game that they've missed, and they have a lot of time to make up in that region, obviously. But the other game that's really a big game for folks that are paying attention to 2A football, and that's Model is traveling up to Fannin County. Model comes into this one 4-2, 4 wins against Lafayette, Tryon, Coosa, and Dade County. Their 2 losses are to 2 really good teams in Sonoraville and Haralson County. Fannin 5-0. Their 5 wins against Union County, Southeast Whitfield, Banks County, Gordon Central, and Pepperell, although they do have a loss to Gilmer depending on who you ask. Fannin has a 14-point favorite according to Cal Preps and a 15-point favorite according to the Maxwell rating. First time these 2 teams have met. Model coming all the way over from Rome, Georgia. Should be a good one. What are you looking for in this one?
Tell you what, Fannin County, like you mentioned, sitting at 5-0. So the folks in Blue Ridge know that's a balanced attack. Quarterback Luke Holloway, 959 yards and 13 touchdowns, also with 461 rushing yards. So that's a guy who can do it both with his arm and his legs. They've got a Battle of Model team that's coming in averaging about 22 points a game. They've won their last 2 games, but lost their 2 prior. So I really think Fannin County takes an advantage with Holloway. But one thing I do want to mention, Model's head coach Jeff Honeycutt, former Grayson Rams head coach. He spent a year over at Villa Rica. Now he's over on to Model. So those guys are going to be well coached. That's what I do expect. But look, I think Fannin, I don't want to call them playing over their head, but the schedule's worked out for them this season. They've got things in order. I like Fannin not only to win this game, but Will, I really think Fannin's going undefeated this season.
You heard it here first from the Turd Ferguson Report. My goodness, what a prediction right there. So that's it for the Friday night games, but hold your horses. We've got a Saturday game to talk about. In case you're not a fan of college football, you're tired, you're seeing your team lose, depending on who you're a fan of, or win, Sequoia and Chattahoochee will be playing. That game's at Chattahoochee, so if you're a fan of Cherokee County football, going to have to make a trip. Sequoia is 1-5. They played their last game on Monday night. Got to watch that. So if you haven't been able to watch the guys with CSS over there who do the Sequoia job, they do a great job live streaming it. You can find it at, I believe it's Sequoia Chiefs is the YouTube page. Okay. But I'm sure if you find it on our Twitter, we retweet it. I know you do as well. Really like those guys. Do a good job of presenting that. Very similar to the job Steve Major Sports does with Cherokee, kind of giving us an opportunity to see those games when we're not in market. So obviously their win last week was against Cambridge, came down to the final play of the game, but won that game against Cambridge 44-41. They do have 5 losses on the schedule, but they're pretty tough teams. Woodstock, Cherokee, Cass, Johns Creek, and Creekview. Not an easy schedule for sure for them. Chattahoochee comes into this one 2-3. Their 2 wins against Northview and Centennial. Their 3 losses are to Alpharetta, River Ridge, and Johns Creek, so not an easy slate for them either. Chattahoochee is a 6-point favorite according to my rankings. You have them at a 2-point clip. Pat has them at a 7-point clip, but here's the interesting part. All of the computer rankings have Sequoia as a favorite. Not a big favorite, but a favorite. Sequoia is a 1-point favorite according to CalPreps and a 2-point favorite according to the Maxwell ratings. So maybe we're a little bit wrong about that. You never can tell. Chattahoochee leads the series all times 4-0. So Sequoia will be looking for their first win over there. Tell us a little bit about that game, Art.
I'll tell you what, for Sequoia, we know it all starts and ends with running back Jaden Mitchell, and he had himself a night on Monday Night Football, scoring 4 touchdowns, 2 receiving, 2 rushing. But I tell you what, I'm even more impressed by young quarterback Matthew Traynor. Now, I'm a little bit partial to Matthew. He played freshman basketball for me last year as our point guard and led our team to a 16-2 season. Yes, I'm going to brag on him. He was a floor general, so it doesn't surprise me with Matthew being a field general. He's also able to do a lot of things with his legs. We know Sequoia doesn't throw the ball a whole lot here. But look, Sequoia's only averaging 19 points a game. They're allowing 29.3. You mentioned their opponents, but they've got to get. They look like they got some things going last week in the run game. The blocking was a little bit better, but the secondary is what concerns me because a couple of times you had some Cambridge receivers running wide open, and it wouldn't necessarily concern me except their opponent throws the ball so much. I had a chance to watch Chattahoochee earlier this season. Jalen Smith, 1,218 yards, 13 touchdowns, 4 rushing, and he's got a couple of great receivers. His brother Jamal Smith and Ben Godwin, so they're going to have to defend the pass. They're going to be successful.
Right, you are, Art. As we mentioned, that game is Saturday at 3 o'clock. And a lot of good football going around on the county in that one as well. Once again, you're listening to the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Cherokee pregame show. I am Will Cooper, joined alongside Arthur Mosley. We have a shortened crowd today. Dave Garner out with a little bit of a bug going around. Not sure what it is. It's not COVID, so everybody just relax for just a minute. But he's doing okay, doing good, listening to the broadcast. Dave, we appreciate you, buddy, and thank you for tuning in with us tonight. Of course, I have Ronnie on the spot, Ronnie Cooper to my right. We'll introduce him into the broadcast later as we get ready for kickoff here. We're about 14 minutes away from kickoff. When we come back on the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Cherokee pregame show, we'll be breaking down our matchup tonight here at the Ridge between the River Ridge Knights coming in undefeated and ranked number 10 in 6A against the Centennial Knights in a Region 7 6A matchup.
When you are the official sponsor of the comeback, adding a few feet to a drive matters.
First down.
So does shaving 1/10 of a second off a lap. Top-rated surgery, physical therapy, and motion analysis by the sports medicine team at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta helps young athletes not only prevent injuries, but heal faster and return stronger, ready to win. Our more than 25 orthopedic and sports medicine locations are ready to assist your athlete's comeback. To learn more, visit choa.org/sportsmed.
At Foundation Financial Insurance and Wealth Management, we believe that your insurance protection and wealth management plan go hand in hand. We start by shopping your insurance with highly rated companies to find you the best combination of price and protection. With that plan in place, we can then work with you to develop a tailored financial plan. Whether you need to save money on insurance or you need a full financial plan, call us at 678-880-9571 or come by 670 East Main Street in Canton for a no-obligation consultation today. Securities and advisory services offered through Packerland Brokerage Services Incorporated, an unaffiliated entity, member FNIRA and SIPC.
Not every road is worthy of a postcard, but don't tell that to the new Michelin Cross Climate 2 tires. Where you see 8 hours of road trip torment with stop-and-go traffic, the Michelin Cross Climate 2 with a 60,000-mile warranty sees a sun-filled family safe drive.
The Michelin Cross Climate 2 tire is safer for longer than leading competitors. Discover more at Michelin.com.
Turn to the experts and get a premium tire with premium service. Only at Canton Tire and Wheel in Canton.
Based on resistance to gravel and severe wear testing, compared to Michelin LTX MS, the 70,000-mile warranty only applies to E-metric sizes.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's Victoria speaking for Woodstock Furniture Outlet and Woodstock Mattress Stores.
Hey y'all, it's Victoria at Woodstock Furniture and Mattress Outlet. Now we know during post-COVID everybody's raising their prices, not us. And at Woodstock Furniture and Mattress Outlet we have the best 0% interest-free financing available. Come and see us at the Furniture Store in Akron, Hiram, and Rome, and come and see our mattress-only stores in Canton, Kennesaw, and Douglasville, and get the best savings.
Welcome back to the Ridge here at River Ridge High School. It is in Woodstock, Georgia. It's a beautiful night, just a little bit cool with a little bit of a breeze blowing, but it's finally football weather. Of course, the weather's been pretty bad for the week, so we're hoping everybody dries out and gets some, if you don't have power back yet, hopefully you get it back soon. I know that the power crews are out there working hard, so if you happen to be listening to us in one of your power trucks, we appreciate all the hard work that you do. You don't realize how much you rely on the electricity until you don't have it. Take it from somebody who has an electric water heater who took a cold bath at candlelight on a beautiful Thursday morning, because that's all I had to do. So you got to make it work however you can make it work. So that's what we did. But anyway, on to more pressing matters. We're here on the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Cherokee pregame show. Of course, you're tuned in to 101.1 FM WLJA. I am your host, Will Cooper, joined alongside Arthur Mosley, the best way to put it, the writer, the executive producer of the Turd Ferguson Report.
Tonight you can call me Cowboy because I brought my boots on.
Man, I tell you. So here's the thing about Art. So I'm 5'8". Art, how tall are you?
6'2".
Okay, so Art's 6'2", so he decided to wear cowboy boots, so that way he's sitting about 6'4". So, this conversation that we're having here, I feel like I'm looking up into the sky going star watching. So, now listen, I made a few comments on the last time that I was on the broadcast mentioning that you were boring.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
And I do have to apologize to you for that. It's not that you're boring. It's just that you use your library voice all the time.
Monotonous.
Yeah, so what I would like to tell you is tonight, obviously, you'll be doing the play-by-play. I want you to break out of your shell a little bit. Right?
A little bit, okay.
A little bit. Not
okay.
too much now.
Okay.
I don't want you to go crazy like Vaughn, because then you won't be allowed in the stadium.
Okay. All right. I think we can handle that.
We can handle that?
Yeah.
All right, attaboy. So here we are, River Ridge and Centennial, the game of the week. Of course, this is due to the fact that River Ridge won against Creekview last week. We promised the fans that whoever won, we would be there for the following week. So, of course, Creekview doing battle with Riverwood over there. We wish them the best of luck, of course, as we do with all of our Cherokee County teams. But we are here to focus our time on the River Ridge Knights, who come into this one 6-0. And, boy, it has been a ride for them. Their wins against Lassiter, 49-21. Really, their coming out party was against Woodstock and Etowah. Beat Woodstock 22-17, Etowah 38-7, and then had a big win against Chattahoochee 52-35. Proved they were legit against Riverwood with a 21-14 win, and then sealed the deal with a 20-17 victory in overtime against Creekview last week. They had everything go wrong for them in the first half and found a way to pull that out. I think we were all surprised by them in that one. Coach Mike Collins is running this team here. You might know him from his time at Wheeler. 9-7 overall, so if you're a fan of the NFL season, there you go. That's a winning season for him. Sign him to an extension. 78-86 career record in the state of Georgia, and this has been the best start in program history for the River Ridge Knights. On the other side of that coin, the Centennial Knights having a rough go of it. They are 0-5, 0-3 in the region, and 0-3 away. Losses to Roswell, a good team there, 42-13. Lost to Peachtree Ridge, 35-32. A tough loss to Riverwood, 37-0. Chattahoochee, 28-12 loss, and a loss to Cambridge of 37-0. 2-0. Coach Sean O'Sullivan, first season there, 0-5, but he's 12-14 in his career, but had a really good stint at North Atlanta for 2 seasons, and these guys haven't won a game since 2018, looking to turn that around in a hurry. River Ridge is a 48-point favorite according to my rankings. You picked them by 5 touchdowns. Patrick has them at a 21-point favorite, and the Maxwell rating has them at a 40-point favorite as well. So, Art, there's a lot to talk about in this one. We know how good River Ridge is coming into this one. What are you looking forward to and seeing in this one, partner?
Well, I'm looking to see really how banged up River Ridge might be. That was a physical game last week. So we look at the teams on paper and we say, well, this is a no-brainer. But after playing a game like Creekview, you wonder, is River Ridge going to be able to go ahead and give their normal output? One thing I'm really excited to see is Jackson Head return to action. We know he missed a game last week. We don't want to get into too much what that was all about.
Right.
But he was out. He returns this week, and so they'll have another weapon on offense. I really look for River Ridge to open up that playbook a little bit more. We know what Amir can do, and none of us are going to be shocked if Amir Morrison rips off 2 or 3 60-plus yard runs. I really want to see if those receivers can get involved in the action early to loosen up a decent Centennial night defense. So they have some pieces over there across the way, and we'll talk about them in just a little bit. But I want to go back to Amir Morrison. River Ridge, first of all, finally getting some of the press they deserve around the state with the Fox 5 and GPB, and so people are starting to take notice. Keep winning, people take notice. Amir still the leading rusher in Class 6A. They're averaging 33.6 points a game, allowing 18.5. And, again, they've got an underrated defense that nobody really talks about enough. We saw them on display last week. Keep them in that game.
Right. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that's the big thing is that, River Ridge had a lot of things go wrong for them, but they found a way to keep Creekview limited to the opposite side of the field and didn't allow them to have anything easy. And when things were looking pretty bad, you kind of felt like, well, they're down by 2 possessions against this Creekview defense that's they were averaging allowing 5.4 points a game. You really had to kind of feel like, well, they might have lost the wind out of their sails there, but did a good job. I was really impressed with, I said it on the podcast, I was really impressed with this River Ridge team and their ability to keep their head up and keep fighting and keep grinding. They didn't seem like they were dejected by that. They didn't seem like they didn't feel like they belonged. Creekview's a hard environment to go into, especially those kids know how to win. They've done it. 2018 wasn't that long ago when they had that amazing season, a little bit of a down year this past year. But those kids expect to win, and that program expects to win. Mm-hmm. River Ridge is kind of the up-and-coming program in this county. They're the ones that, have yet to go over that hump. And not only did they beat the Cherokee County team, they have yet to lose to a Cherokee County team in this season. Of course, the one that they will face next is Sequoia later down the road. We'll talk about that when we get to that point. But River Ridge they're in the catbird seat right now in this region. As you mentioned, there's a possibility that Creekview could creep back into that first seed. But with River Ridge, all they have to do is win out. And the schedule's gotten a lot easier since beating Riverwood and Creekview in back-to-back weeks.
It certainly has. One game really we think is looming large for them down the road with Johns Creek that could decide the region title. But tonight they've got to focus on Centennial. And Centennial, I know we talked about their record, but they've got a Power 5 receiver in Julian Nixon, okay? Julian goes, I believe it's 6'4".
220.
Yeah, he's a big target. He's only got, I think it's a 206 yards receiving on the season. But, again, you've got a young quarterback for Centennial. So we'll have to see how they can get him the ball. I think you and I talked about it offline a little bit. Maybe they can do something, but maybe it's a jet sweep, short passing game to get him out in space. To hopefully, you got to get your playmakers the ball, right? And again, we talked about Coach O'Sullivan had success at North Atlanta. We think he's going to have success at Centennial down the road, but this year they're struggling a little bit, and a lot of it they've had some COVID issues as we've heard from Coach Collins, and maybe some injuries they're working with. So we don't even know if they've had a full team on board. I tell you what, one person I'm excited to see on the Centennial team is freshman center Daniel Calhoun, 6'5", 305. Will, and you were educating me a little bit. Has already been offered by the University of Georgia. Yeah. So it's not like it's for lack of players over there. I think it's a new system here, and they're going to have an uphill battle trying to stop Amir Morrison. I don't know if Centennial can really afford to get in a shootout with River Ridge because I think River Ridge is just clicking too well this season. So I'm excited to see this young Centennial team. They don't run the ball a whole lot. They throw the ball a ton. So while I thought this game might go quickly because of River Ridge's offense, we might be here all night, partner.
We might be, and that's what we signed up for. Centennial's offensive line moving left to right. Peyton Major, we'll talk about him on the defensive side. Two-way player, senior, 6'4", 225 pounds. Left guard, Justin Gillette, senior, 6 foot, 245 pounds. The center might be Daniel Calhoun, as you mentioned there, but I have him listed as Jake Wilbanks. We'll see him interchange. We saw him taking pregame snaps as well. Number 68, junior, 6 foot, 200 pounds. Daniel Calhoun, 14 years old, freshman, 6'5", 330 pounds. Offers from University of Georgia and Tennessee. When he was in 8th grade, University of Georgia called him and offered him, so keep an eye on that young man. I'm sure we'll call his name quite a few times tonight. Number 57, Evan Walker, the senior, 6'2", 240 pounds. Right tackle, you mentioned Julian Nixon, 6'4", 215 pounds senior. He's a Tennessee commit, 4-star, 175th on ESPN's 300 top list, and they are the 75th wide receiver. Drake Mason on the left side of that is no small guy himself at 6'3", 170. Keep an eye on him. Quarterback, Zaire Goff, sophomore, 5'10", 180. We've seen some film on him. Be interested to see what he can do tonight. For the River Ridge side, left tackle, Cal Began, left guard, Jake Sine. Camden Cochran anchors this one, senior, 5'11", 245 pounds. The big guy for them is the right guard, Jack Hall, junior, 6'5", 285 pounds. And Telmo Iturde, the senior, over there on the right tackle side as well. Quarterback Carson Latham will be leading the way for them. Jackson Head returns for this one, Andrew Bingham as well. I'm sure we'll see Micah Martineau had a big game in there. Riley Canes at tight end. Amir Morrison, you've heard us talk about him, 135 carries, 1,164 yards on the season, 17 touchdowns for the running back. And Tyler Carter is a flex player for them, 5'9", 180, 14 carries, 75 yards, just in case Amir gets tired out. So we'll talk a lot about them. The Centennial defense will line up like this. Peyton Major at the defensive end position, 17 tackles, 2 sacks, really anchors that line. Not to be outdone by Jordan Gates, senior, 6'2", 250. Jordan Marks will join him as a defensive tackle. And Evan Walker, the senior, 6'2", 240 pounds for him. On the River Ridge side of the ball on that defensive line, Brian Bradley comes in with 56 tackles and 4 sacks. Brandon Dye, the sophomore, 5'8", 180 pounds, 14 tackles, 2 sacks. Dylan Prasad, the other guy that will be on the defensive line, junior, 5'8", 180 pounds, 25 tackles and 1 tackle for loss. And Hunter Coleman, the other defensive end, the junior, 6'3", 200 pounds, 15 tackles and 2 tackles for loss. We're set for kickoff here. We're going to take a 1-minute break, and we'll be back. You're listening to the WLJA Game of the Week.
Welcome to Perk Up. What can I get you?
Can I have a large, skinny, non-fat macchiato with
My 15-year-old has the taste buds of a middle-aged woman, but she's no adult. That's why we took her to Children's for her scoliosis. Their pediatric orthopedic program is nationally ranked. Their specialists understand growing bones and how to treat them. My kid ordering an adult-style coffee? Okay. Going to an adult doctor? Not so much.
Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Orthopedics. Where you take them matters. Learn more at choa.org/ortho.
Welcome back to The Ridge. Of course, I am your host, Will Cooper. We're out of the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Cherokee pregame show, getting set for kickoff. Honored to have with me for the first time in his professional broadcasting career, Arthur Mosley doing the play-by-play with me, partner. Glad you're here with us. Of course, Dave Garner is out with a little bit of a bug, so we pray for him. Vaughn Brown taking a trip up to the mountains with some of his buddies, so we're hoping for safe travels and good times for him as well. And Ronnie on the spot. Ronnie Cooper doing the stats for me to the right-hand side over here, doing the job he always does so well for us. It's a beautiful night for football. Finally, after the storms have cleared, it's finally turned fall in the beautiful North Georgia mountains. We're set at the Ridge in Woodstock, Georgia. Scotty Rutherford, the kicker for the River Ridge Knights, and he will be kicked deep to one of these awesome wide receivers for the Centennial offense. We have yet to see
Barrett Wooden, I believe, is the return man for Centennial.
Attaboy. Toe meets leather, and we're underway. It's a short pooch kick up to about the 30-yard line. It's going to bounce and roll, and that'll go out of bounds, so they'll move it up to the 40-yard line after that short pooch kick, where the Centennial Knights will take over on offense.
Yeah, well, we've seen a lot of teams this season use that short pooch kick, and you know the danger is you give the opposition very good field position. So maybe Coach knows something we don't with that pooch kick, but we'll see. And they'll actually bring this out to the 35. I think it's 40 in the pro, and so we're not at that level yet.
Okay,
so.
well, yeah. Now these kids, I mean, listen, all these kids are going to be playing on Sunday.
Some of them look like they should be right now.
Right, you are. Zaire Goff in the backfield with Nathan Webster, the freshman, 5'8", 180 pounds. 4 wide receivers split out. Takes the snap, turns around, throws it quickly, and it's completed out to the flat, and that's cut down going nowhere. A gain of nothing out there. And that's actually number 4 for the Centennial offense. So Zaire White will not be the quarterback tonight. That is Tyler Lascaris, the freshman, for the Centennial Knights, trying something a little bit different here.
Yeah, and that was, again, on the reception, number 25. Good short gain for Centennial on their first pass play.
Set up here. It's a jet sweep this time. Gets it out to Wooten again, and he's wrapped up going absolutely nowhere. Tackled by a bunch of Knights, but the first one there to make contact, number 23. And that's Connor Gross, the senior, 5'11", 155-pound strong safety with 55 tackles on the season, making 56. Third and 11.
Third and long first time, and not the situation you want your freshman quarterback in right now, but they're going to have to go down the field on this play unless there's something creative.
Let's see what they can do here. Once again, Tyler Laskins, I believe is how you pronounce his name. I'll get it right by the end of this game. 4 wide receivers split out, 1 running back in the formation, and this is going to be blown dead for a pre-snap formation. It'll be a false start on the Centennial Knights. We'll have to clarify that throughout the night for you. So push them way back to 3rd and 16 here.
Yeah, 3rd and long again. This went from bad to worse in a hurry for Centennial. So, again, you've got a couple of big wide receivers on the outside. Maybe just throw them up and let them try to go get one.
See what they can do, right? Here we go. Sending a guy in motion to the other side of the formation here. Getting things settled. Once again, the freshman quarterback coming in for this one. Getting the signal from the sideline. Delivering the message out to his wide receivers. 4 wide split. It's a pass all the way. Good blocking so far. He rolls out to the left-hand side, and he dumps it into the flat and cut down short. That pass was completed out there to Julian Nixon, I believe. So the first time we've called his name.
That was Julian Nixon, and then Wider on the stop, excuse me. But again, you're throwing the ball parallel to the line of scrimmage. Not going to get it done on 3rd and 16. So punt unit on for Centennial. And River Ridge, a great opportunity to capitalize here on their first drive. Excuse me.
Right you are. 4th and 17. Micah Martineau, the hero from last week's game, out to return this punt. Showing like they're bringing some pressure. Snap is back. It's high, but it's fielded cleanly by the punter. It's a rolling kick, and he gets it away. Pretty good punt. Lands at about the midfield stripe, and it's carried all the way out to the 40. Still rolling. Good Centennial bounce all the way down to the 38-yard line. And that's where the River Ridge Knights will take up shop. We'll keep the action right here for you as we get set for the first possession for the River Ridge Knights tonight.
Almost a little bit of a disaster there. Dylan Persad down there blocking, almost touched that ball for River Ridge. So got to have your head on a swivel, man. I know he's down there blocking, but that could have been disastrous for River Ridge here. But nevertheless, it'll be their ball. 1st and 10 from their own 37-yard line.
There you go. Carson Latham, the quarterback, know him well. Amir Morrison, I'm sure you know him by now. And it's a handoff to Morrison off the right-hand side. And he barrels forward for a gain of about 3. So he'll get up to the 41-yard line and set up 2nd and 7.
Just a dive right up the middle there for Morrison, picking up 3 yards there. Nothing fancy, but we know what their recipe is for success here.
River Ridge will split 4 wide receivers out for most of the night. You'll also see Riley Kane utilized on the offensive line as well at tight end position. Latham sends a man in motion. That's Riley Kane's, as we mentioned there. It's a toss out to Amir Morrison. He's got a little bit of a hole. Stiff arm, and he's finally driven out of bounds. It'll be close to the first down marker. And it's going to be 3rd down by about a yard. So 3rd and 1, right where River Ridge wants to be.
Yeah, great help there by the Centennial secondary coming up in run support. Now, again, a 4 or 5 yard pickup by Morrison, but again, preventing the first down here. So not bad defense by Centennial on this opening drive.
Absolutely not. Once again, a very solid defensive line, anchored by Peyton Major. Number 55 has a few offers coming in finally, one from Reinhardt. And the hard count's going to draw him off. Carson Latham gets him to jump and move those chains. It'll be enough for the first down of the River Ridge Knights.
Yeah, you've got big 64 Jordan Marks jumping, man. That's a lot of guy to slow down once he gets moving in one direction. The senior defensive tackle got caught on the hard count.
We don't have an official weight listed for him, but eyeballing him next to 6'2", 250-pound Jordan Gates, I would say he's knocking on 300.
Easily.
Roundabout.
Easily.
So here we go. It's a handoff to Amir, and he's being chased by Peyton, and he makes him miss, and he's going to make a couple people miss, and he's finally pushed down. Move those chains, enough for a first down out to the 35-yard line. The Knights knocking into Centennial territory.
And just like that, Amir Morrison is one tackle away from breaking a touchdown. But, hey, started the game with consecutive run after run after run. I would not be shocked to see a little play action here in the next couple plays.
Let's see what they do here. 3 wide receivers split out. Pistol formation. Latham checks the sideline, hard count, didn't get anybody to jump. Going to check with his offensive line here, deliver the play call. Single coverage down at the bottom of the field, and it's a handoff to Morrison again. Makes a hard cut. He carries it outside, but he's only going to be carried for about a gain of 2. Set up 2nd and 8 here for the Knights.
Once again on the outside, the defensive backs doing a great job in run support. The line was able to stretch that play out so they can get a little help from that secondary and that second line of defense. And again, limited to 1 yard. Great job by Centennial early on.
Morrison checks out of the game. Tyler Carter comes in, the 5'9", 180-pound junior. 14 carries, 75 yards, and a touchdown on the season for him. He'll join Latham in the shotgun. 4 wide receivers split out, Surveys, good pass rush, but it's completed to Riley Caines over the middle, and he's tackled out in the middle of the flat. It's going to be close to a first down, but just short. And he was tackled by Johnsley Barbas, the sophomore, 5'9", 150-pound free safety, 26 tackles and 2 interceptions on the season. Sets up 3rd and 1 for the Knights.
Caines able to make that catch and hold on in some contact there, setting up a 3rd and short for River Ridge.
Good comeback game for him. We had some issues with the Butterfingers last week, but was big in the final drive of the game. Came up big for the Knights, and he's moved in motion here. Turned around, and it's a fake handoff to Amir, and he's rolling out in the flat. Latham on the run, and he throws it just over the head of an intended target. A little bit of contact, but I believe it was uncatchable. So that Andrew Bingham was the intended target on that one. 4th and 1.
Yeah, they rolled him out to the wide side of the field here, but as the receivers were well covered down the field, I thought Latham might pull that ball down and try to run for 1 yard, but this is 4-down territory here, so no harm, no foul there.
See what they do here. Probably going to get a big dose of Amir Morrison on this one. They bunch the line up here. And it's a quarterback sneak, and Latham, oh boy, let's see. It's going to be real close.
Close, partner.
And Spotter says he's short. And all the officials go up. And every team's pointing the other way, so we'll have to wait for them to clarify this for us.
Yeah, that's a
and it's short, so Centennial will take over on downs. Wow, so a big turnover for the Knights here early, the Centennial Knights. And they will get a chance to come back out here on offense right around the 31-yard line for them.
Yeah, interesting formation there for River Ridge. You know, they normally line up in the shotgun, understand at 4th and short, but normally you get a quarterback there. He hikes the ball in and finds a gap. Those are some big defensive linemen. He wasn't able to find one this time, so Centennial takes over.
Right, you are. So it looks like we'll have a different quarterback in this one, number 11.
And I believe that's Goff checking in the game here.
Let's see. So number 11 is actually Julian Nixon.
Huh?
So Zaire is number 10.
Okay.
So Julian Nixon, who is the 6'4", 250-pound wide receiver. So maybe a little bit of trickeration going on, but he's back out under center again. So he's going to give it a go and picked up 8 yards on that last play, 2nd and 8. So a bunch formation to the bottom here. Once again, Julian Nixon, Tennessee commit, 6'4", 220-pound at quarterback. And he's going to keep it here, and he's going to make a couple people miss, but he's going to be wrapped up for a loss of about 2. Good run to the ball and rally by the River Ridge Knights. First contact made over there by Brian Bradley.
And we see the starting quarterback come back in, the freshman here. Maybe just to change things up there. Again, that River Ridge defense up front, Aiden Bruton coming in and run support, but you got Brian Bradley up there as well and on that tackle, making it difficult for Centennial.
Tyler Lascaris comes back in, Laskiaris. So hopefully I can pronounce that correctly. Kind of a surprise there. We expected to see Zaire Goff or Jet Miller. Those were the 2 guys listed on the depth chart, but trying to find a little bit of offense here. 3rd and 4, and a false start here will push them back again. So the second false start on the Centennial Knights when they are getting ready for a 3rd down play. So instead of 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 4, make it 3rd and 9.
That was Big Daniel Goff, the freshman at guard. He was pulling out already, and he was on his way. Again, good-looking kid. But once you get these big boys moving, there's not a whole lot of way you can get them stopped. So penalty makes it 3rd and 9 here.
Well, he is playing left guard today over on the left side of Peyton Major, who's 6'4", 225, and he makes him look small. 3rd and 8. Latham surveys, and flags come out again. And let's see what this one is. They're pointing towards River Ridge, but nope, it is a false start on the Centennial Knights. So instead of 3rd and 9, make it 3rd and 14. So they've gone back 10 yards on 2 consecutive penalties. And just like that, that's how you shoot yourself in the foot.
Especially in a game where you have to get things going the right way. We talked about him needing to take care of the football and just cannot afford to keep going backwards against his River Ridge defense. It'll be 3rd down and 14 from their own 23-yard line.
Let's see what they can do here. 4 wide receivers split out. Surveys the field. Good protection so far from the Knights, and he drops it off to the running back, and he gains a couple of yards, enough out there. Barrett Wooten, the sophomore, 5'7", 150 pounds. He plays as the second running back, kind of a flex guy. You'll see him run the ball. You'll see him catch the ball. Very similar to A.J. Vaccaro out there at Creekview High School, wishing them the best of luck. But no dice there. It'll bring up 4th and about 6 here, and Micah Martino will come back out to get this punt.
Again, trying to find something underneath, just not there for Centennial. River Ridge very quick to the ball once the receiver made the catch.
Once again, River Ridge showing like they're going to bring some pressure here. And it's another high snap and a beautiful punt and catch. And it lands at about the halfway stripe, and this time it's going to take a River Ridge Knights bounce. And it will go all the way back into River Ridge territory, so at about the 49.5-yard line. And, boy, the Centennial punter has bailed them out of 2 horrible possessions.
Perilous snaps here for Centennial early on and just got this punt away. River Ridge within about 6 inches of blocking that punt. Nevertheless, punt takes a River Ridge bounce, so it's back at the 45-yard line, so plus field position for the River Ridge Knights as they take over on the second drive.
Andrew the Centennial Knights and the River Ridge Knights, so we'll try to clarify that throughout the night. This time it's a jet sweep keeper to Andrew Bingham out there, but he's going to be wrapped up for a gain of only about 1 or 2, and it'll bring up 2nd and 9 for the River Ridge Knights.
Yeah, not a whole lot going there early on for Bingham there around the end. Centennial showing, like, again, their defensive end and defensive backs are really showing up. And Dave Garner mentioned he's giving us some notes here. He said, hey, the most dangerous team is the one with nothing to lose. So letting it all hang out here is Centennial.
Again, our score 0-0, about 5 minutes left on the game clock here in the first quarter. This is a keeper by Carson Latham. He's got a whole bunch of room. Makes a man miss. He's out to the 20, and he makes another man miss. 10-5, touchdown, the Knights. Wow, what a run by Carson Latham, putting number 21, Clayton Forston, on skates. And, man, he is into the end zone, and the Knights are up in this one 6-0, pending the extra point.
44-yard run from Carson Latham, but I want to tell you, his wide receiver tight end, Jackson Head, laying a big block to spring him once he got to about the 25-yard line. Then, as you mentioned, putting the defensive back on skates and walking into the end zone. Big play there for the junior quarterback.
Scotty Rutherford comes on to attempt the extra point. The holder is Carson Latham. Rutherford is 5 for 5 on kicks for the year, but 19 of 21 in extra points. This is a team that scores a lot of points, so we utilize him quite a bit. Toe meets leather, and it is good. So just like that, the River Ridge Knights are on top 7-0. We're going to take a 30-second break, and we'll be back. You're listening to the Game of the Week on WLJA 101.1 FM.
There's been so much talk about distracted driving, you're probably sick of hearing about it. Well, we'd rather you be sick of hearing about it than lose your life doing it. The caring staff with Sosby Funeral Home in Canton reminds you that we all have to go sometime, but don't rush it. Wait your turn and don't drive distracted. Keep your hands on the wheel, your eyes on the road, and make sure you stay alert and arrive alive. Drive safely and help us protect our teens. They're the only future we've got. Brought to you by Sosby Funeral Home, honoring life from 191 Jarvis Street in Canton.
Welcome back to the Ridge here as the River Ridge Knights get set to kick this one off to the Centennial Knights. River Ridge, 2 plays for 45 yards. Those were both rushes, and a 44-yard touchdown scamper from Carson Latham only took 43 seconds off of the clock for the first score of this one. 4 minutes, 31 seconds left on the clock. River Ridge up 7-0 over Centennial for this one. Scotty Rutherford pooches this one off to the left-hand side once again, and it bounces right at the 30, and they let this one roll, and it goes out of bounds once again. So the Centennial Knights will be set up with good field position once again. Let's see if they can make something happen this time.
Yeah, Coach Collins and the special teams unit must have seen something on film that convinced them they're not going to kick this ball deep. They'll take the 35-yard line. And, hey, with the defenses playing like they are up to this point, why not? Centennial's really not been able to get anything going. I know we don't have the yardage right now, but I would imagine they're about at 7 or 8 yards of total offense.
Right you are. Ronnie on the spot's going to get us that number, I bet. They are up to 5 total yards. 13 total yards. Sorry, they had a first down there. So There you go. Again, this is a Centennial team that came in averaging only 11.4 points per game, and the River Ridge defense allowing 17.3 points per game. So pretty average over there. So we'll have to see if they can make something happen with this one. It looks like Tyler Laskins will come back out at the quarterback position. Once again, the true freshman. He's got 3 wide receivers split out, a tight end, and a running back in this formation. Turn around, it's a handoff all the way, and he's going to cut it out. He's finally going to be wrapped up for only a gain of about 2. Number 20 on the tackle for the River Ridge Knights. And a good open field tackle by Tyler Carter, the defensive back, the junior.
Yeah, Nate Webster over there trying to find finding it tough sledding, running in between the tackles against River Ridge's defense.
Nate Webster, the freshman, 5'8", 180 pounds. He is the leading rusher for this team. So as you mentioned in the pregame, Art, not a team that likes to run a lot, so they will try to do what they can. Wooten in the slot here. 3 wide receivers split out. Webster, the running back. Cinnamon in motion. It's a handoff once again. He bounces it to the outside, lowers the shoulder, makes a couple people miss, but he's wrapped up for only a gain of about 1. 3rd and 6 for the Centennial Knights coming up here as the ball is just short of the 40-yard line.
Yeah, Centennial not doing anything dangerous and going down the field. 2 comfortable play calls here, but again, now you're in 3rd and long, 3rd and 7 here, so they're probably going to have to put the ball in the air again, and we really haven't seen them throw the ball downfield.
Drake Mason, the senior, 6'3", 170 pounds on this side, closest to us on the River Ridge side of the field. And opposite him, Julian Nixon, the senior, 6'4", 220-pound, 4-star wide receiver, headed to Knoxville after this season. Gets the snap. No false start this time, and he's looking Julian's way, but it's just way out of bounds. Julian never had a chance of it, and that will fall harmlessly to the turf and bring up 4th and 6 for the Centennial Knights. And River Ridge forces yet another 3 and out.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the ball came out of Laskin's hands. Very clean there, and it was kind of a duck, and it kind of floated out of bounds. And for River Ridge, again, defense holds and giving up 3 yards on that drive, and they'll look like they'll have another good opportunity for some field position.
Well, a little bit of trickeration going on. The formation shifts, and now they're going to go for it. So River Ridge not willing to burn a timeout, it looks like, and I believe we got flags, so it's going to be an illegal formation on the Centennial Knights here. So they didn't get it on 3rd down, but they got it on 4th down, so it'll make it 4th and 11 now. So let's see if they decide to punt on this one.
Yeah, I think at this point you take the trickeration out of the way. It looks like they were going to go for a little end around there, the way the formation was set up. But it looks like one too many men in the backfield there on that trick formation.
Right you are. The limit is 3. They had 4, but that happens when you try to trickerate a little bit too quickly. Of course, shout out to Larry Prather. Hope you're doing good, buddy. We miss you here at the football stadium. And this kick is up and good. And it's fair caught and handled at about the 47-yard line. Almost blocked by Scotty Rutherford, but it is caught, and River Ridge will take over just short of the Centennial Knights' territory.
It's a 3rd punt finally. The 3rd time was a charm. Yep. They got a clean snap, clean kick. But again, they're not really able to flip the field position as River Ridge will have it close to plus territory at their own 46-yard line as they start this drive after coming off of a 44-yard touchdown run by Carson Latham.
So let's see here. Pistol formation with 2 running backs. Amir, one of them. Turn around. Amir heads out to the flat, but it's a setup screen, and it's, oh, wow, what a good open field tackle out there by the Centennial Knight, number 22, Johnsley Barbas, who got put on skates earlier, so he makes up for that one with only a 1-yard gain for the Knights. That pass was completed out there to Tyler Carter. And it's 2nd and 9 for the River Ridge Knights out here on the 47-yard line.
Just a really slow developing screenplay that time. Didn't look like everyone was on the same page, and minimal gain.
About 2 minutes left here to go, just over 2 minutes in the first quarter of this one. River Ridge up 7-0 over Centennial. Turn around, it's a handoff to Amir, and he's bottled up in the backfield going absolutely nowhere. Give that credit to number 52 for them. Daniel Max, the junior for Centennial, did a good job. Was also joined by Peyton Major to help empty up that one. So push back to the original line of scrimmage. So 3rd and 10 here for the River Ridge Knights.
Yeah, we're not used to seeing that a whole lot with Amir. We saw it last week against the Creekview defense, but Centennial really looks like they come to play this game.
Once again, Jack Hall playing right guard. Telmo Uturde over there on right tackle, and Camden Cochran in the center on the right side of that, where they like to run. Drops back here. Latham surveys the field. It's attempted out to Amir over the middle, and it's bounced up but falls harmlessly to the turf, just short of number 21, Clayton Forston. And that will set up 4th and 10, and the Knights will bring out the punt formation here for this one.
Yeah, it looked like a tunnel string action coming back underneath, but those big defensive linemen were in. Maybe offensive line should have held that block for half a second more to get that chance to play to develop. The ball was thrown a little bit behind Amir on the shoulder patch, popped up in the air, and then fell harmlessly to the turf.
Scotty Rutherford does all the kicking duties, place kicking, kickoffs, and punting here. So he's back. His toes are on the 32-yard line. Snap is back. It's good. Centennial not bringing any pressure, but he shanks this one just straight up in the air. And it's going to go out of the bound. Let's see. Oh, boy, it takes a nice River Ridge bounce all the way down to the 31-yard line. Man, so they did get 4 yards better than what they normally get when they kick it out of bounds. So if you want to say that's a victory, there you go. But it took a weird bounce. It came off his foot kind of awkward and took a nice little roll like it was like a bowling ball. And it emptied out back there at the 31-yard line. So that's where Centennial set up shop on this drive.
Not sure if that was the intent, but a little bit of English on that kick. And like you said, when he first went off his leg, we thought that was a shank and thought Centennial would have their best field position. But as they come out, it's their worst field position of the game to start out.
Let's see what Centennial can do with this one. See who they got at quarterback this time. It looks like that Tyler Laskins will return out there for this one. 4 wide receivers split out. 1 running back in the backfield. That's Webster. Sent a man in motion. Faked both of the handoffs, and he throws it deep, and there was nobody even out there. Looked like maybe one of the receivers got caught up with Scotty Rutherford out there. I believe that maybe number 11 was the intended target. Julian Nixon was out there.
Yeah, it looked like Nixon, a little incidental contact, but even still, that ball was going to be well overthrown. So 2nd and 10. And we'll see if they can come up with a better play call here on 2nd down.
Yeah, and the big thing for them is to stay in front of the penalty marker. They've had penalties that have really ruined their drives, even on 3rd down when they get into a short position. But 2nd and 10 here. Bunch formation to the bottom, 1 lone receiver to the top. That's Julian Nixon. And they go offsides again. I'm sorry I mentioned it. It's another false start. 2nd and 15 now for the Centennial Knights.
Just the announcer jinxed by Will Cooper here. But again, Centennial playing behind the chains, just not a recipe, not just to beat River Ridge, but not a recipe for success any night. So they're going to have to get that worked out and get everybody on the same page. And, just go to 1 snap count and go from there maybe.
See what they can do. North Hall and Gilmer tied at 7. Cherokee up 7-0 over Etowah. Riverwood down 10-0 to Creekview over there just up the road. This time it's a handoff, and that's a fake handoff, so it's going to be kept by Laskins. A good design there because the running back was swallowed in the backfield by a group there. Brian Bradley brought him down, but he kept the ball. So make up the penalty there, and it'll be 3rd and about 8 now for the Centennial Knights.
Yeah, great read by Laskins there because that play was going nowhere, and get back to and actually got maybe a yard on the play, so 3rd and 9. But hey, Centennial's been here all night so far, so this is familiar territory for them. Let's see if they can get it past downfield.
40 seconds left in this one. This will most likely be the last play of the game here unless a punt gets brought up here. Trips to the bottom. 1 lone receiver to the top on one-on-one coverage. Surveys the field. Good protection. It's a screen out to the middle. Out to the 30. Puts his hand down. He's going to be just short of the 1st down marker by about 4 yards. And the clock's rolling here with 20 seconds left. That pass was completed out to number 17. That is Luke Singletary, a freshman wide receiver for them. So you're going to see a lot of youth from this Centennial Knights team coming into this one. Go ahead.
It's just tough for these young players to come out here and make plays on the varsity, but impressive, even still, the freshman quarterback, the freshman receiver, the future's going to be bright, but we come to the end of the first, it's 7-0. Hey, Centennial's in this ball game.
They're in this ball game. When we come back, we'll bring you the 2nd quarter of River Ridge versus Centennial. A 30-second break, and we'll be back. You're listening to the Game of the Week on WLJA 101.1 FM.
In times of uncertainty, it's nice to know that there's still some things that are certain. Hi, I'm Dave Garner here, your local Woodman Life representative. I want to make sure that your family is protected with needs-based life insurance through Woodman Life. Life insurance has many benefits. It's not just something that's there when you pass. It's mortgage protection, family savings, debt relief, replacing lost income, and overall peace of mind. Some companies sell it because they have to. We sell it because it's what we do. Call for a free quote today or visit me online, and let's make certain that you're protected from today's uncertainty.
You're listening to WLJA-FM 101.1 and WLJA HD1 LJ, Woodstock, Jasper, Canton, and all of North Georgia.
Thank you, Asa. Asa Jones, Smokestacks back on Master Controls. That break you heard was the voice of Dave Garner. He's not here tonight. He's hopefully cozied up in his nice house. Finally got power back today. We're glad to hear that for you, partner. get a nice warm hot shower, a nice warm hot meal, and rest up, partner, because we're going to need you next week. We'll talk about our next week game coming up on the Foundation Financial Halftime Show. This time the punt is up and away by Centennial. Fair caught and ran up and caught at the 40-yard line. So River Ridge will have a short field to work with here. Our score is 7-0 for the River Ridge Knights over the Centennial Knights as we are set for the second quarter here. I'm your host, Will Cooper, and I'm joined alongside my color commentator for the day, Arthur Mosley. Ronnie on the spot, Ronnie Cooper to the right of me doing stats, putting that all together for us, doing a great job here. It's a nice, beautiful night for some football, Art.
Yeah, it is a beautiful night. A little bit chilly. What we come to expect at the end of October, Halloween looming right around the corner for the young ones tomorrow night. A little bit of nip in the air, but these guys are hoping to heat it up here on the field tonight.
Right, you are. Vaughn's going in a Halloween dress as a River Ridge fan, so that's going to be interesting for him. 4 wide receivers split out here. Riley Canes on the end of this formation. Now Amir checks back in. He was lined up in the slot hiding from us, but he comes back in, and it's a handoff to him on the side of us. Makes a couple people miss, and he's going to be brought down. A good open field tackle out there by number 2. Wow. He wrapped up Amir Morrison from behind. It looks like, let's see, number 2 for the Centennial Knights here is Jordan Barbas. So another guy that we mentioned coming up here big.
Yeah, Barbas got Amir by the shoulder pads and just wouldn't let go, and slung him down after we thought Amir might break it, setting up a 2nd down and 3 for River Ridge.
Jordan's brother Johnsley plays as well. He's number 22, so that was why it took me a minute there, making sure I had their names right. So number 22 and number 2. So the freshman and the sophomore respectively for those guys. One's a linebacker, one is the strong safety. Latham surveys the field, dimps it out to Amir Morrison on an out route, makes a couple people miss, makes a couple more people miss, and he's finally drugged down enough for a 1st down. What a good pass and catch move, those chains. But he is finally brought down at about the 46-yard line of Centennial.
Yeah, Amir Morrison showing off his dance moves over there on the sideline, making people miss, and as Billy Packer might say, a little lingerie on the deck there by.
All right. How about that for your Here we go. It's a quick pass out there to Riley Canes, and he's going absolutely nowhere. What a great, Andrew Bingham on the reception there, but he was going absolutely nowhere. A group of Centennial Knights out there, met most likely by Peyton Major out there from his defensive end position, but also Johnny Barbas coming up from his position as well.
Yeah, I'm really impressed by the speed of Centennial rallying to the football every play, and that time stopping River Ridge for a loss of 2 yards.
The Knights here, 4 wide receivers. The running back is Amir Morrison. It's 2nd and 12. Sends him out in motion here. Surveys, good protection, got plenty of time, and it's attempted to Jackson Head over the middle and falls incomplete, a little bit over his head. So it falls harmlessly to the turf, and it brings up 3rd and 12 for the River Ridge Knights.
Yeah, that pass a little bit high, but as my old man used to say, you put your hands on it, you got to catch it, and we come to expect those catches from Jackson Head. We're sure they'll come back to him later. But again, setting up another passing down here for River Ridge on 3rd and 12, just inside of Centennial territory.
4 wide receivers, same formation as last time. Surveys the field, good protection once again, and he finds a man. And I believe that's Andrew Bingham out there, but he's wrapped up. And once again, another good open field tackle by Johnsley Barbas. And just short of that 1st down marker. Got kind of a bad spot there.
Yeah, I thought he was about at the 43 when he caught that ball, pushed back a little bit, but they're going to call it
40.
At the 40. So 4 yards left to go.
Looks like the offense will stay out there, as Coach Larry Prather would mention. Watch the ADO attempt to draw off sides. It's worked once tonight. Pistol formation, 3 wide receivers. Riley Canes the tight end, Amir Morrison the running back. But it's a pitch to him, and he carries it off the side, and he's going to fall just short of that 1st down marker. Once again, number 2 came up to make the tackle for Centennial. Centennial showing a lot of fight. Once again, that is Jordan Barbas, the brother of Johnsley Barbas. So a good open field tackle by him. It'll be a turnover on downs.
Yeah, nothing doing there on the run off the right side of the River Ridge line, trying to get it out wide. And again, the team's speed able to come back and rally to the ball carrier, stop Amir about a couple yards short of the 1st down. So, Centennials with their best field position of the night here, starting at the River Ridge 38-yard line.
Centennial only able to muster 27 yards, 6 rushes for 14 yards, 4 of 6 passing, though, but only for 13 yards, 6 penalties for 30 yards. That'll hurt. Had the ball for 4 minutes and 38 seconds time of possession for them. Centennial having a little bit of trouble getting lined up. River Ridge on the other side of that coin, 13 plays, 76 yards, 8 rushes, 67. And Centennial's going to burn a timeout here. We'll go over these first quarter stats for you here. They had 8 rushes for 67 yards. Of course, the 44-yard scamper from Carson Latham will help that number. 2 of 4 passing, 19 yards, 2 first downs, 2 penalties for them, but net 0 yards, and 7 minutes and 22 seconds time of possession for the River Ridge Knights. So thank you to Ronnie on the spot. Ronnie Cooper doing a great job over there, keeping us nice and organized. You're looking warm over there, partner, with your Foundation Financial halftime show. Nope, his hands are cold. His hands are very cold. Wow. Thank you for that.
Hey, is there any better stat man in the business than Ronnie Cooper over there?
No, none. I tell you, if you haven't seen us set up in the stands, you need to come by and just look at Ronnie's setup. He's got pens, he's got notepads, he's got his laptop, he's got this program that he's designed that puts it all in there for him. He is an absolute machine right now. Man, I tell you, couldn't get any better. This is what WLJA Broadcasting is all about, bringing you the best in the business in local sports. Here we go. It's a handoff this time to Wooden off the side. Makes a couple people miss, but he's going to be wrapped up. A good open field tackle out there. That was by I believe that's number 55.
Yeah, I believe that was Dylan Prasad there coming up to make the tackle in the backfield as they tried to stretch it out in the field. They're going to give the ball carrier back to the line of scrimmage, but
another generous spot.
Great open field tackle. Not sure what officiating crew these guys are from, but
obviously from Roswell.
Centennial getting the benefit of the doubt here so far tonight.
9 minutes left to go in the second quarter. Again, the score here is 7-0 in favor of the River Ridge Knights. River Ridge comes in pretty heavy favorites in this one. But they have had quite a string of tough games, so maybe a little bit of a downer here. Let's see what they can do, though. Turn around. It's a handoff to the freshman, Nathan. He barrels forward and lowers his shoulder, and he's carried forward for a gain of about 5. Going to bring up 3rd and 5 or 6, depending on the spot here. And a good job by the River Ridge Knights to rally to the ball. Looked like Brian Bradley was probably first on contact there.
Yeah, Webster, a pretty good yard there, picking up 5 yards right off tackle there for Centennial, setting up a 3rd and 5. They'll call it 3rd and 6 now. They said 4. Their best third down position of the night here.
If they don't get a penalty here. Once again, they had 6 pre-snap penalties. Let's see what they can do here. Pistol formation. 3 wide receivers. Julian Nixon now to the bottom of our position, and man, he is a big kid. Lined up one-on-one against number 11 on the outside. It's a pass out to the other wide receiver, though, and he's going to push for, oh boy, it's going to be real close. Spotter says it's a first down, and they're going to discuss it here. Based on the spotting so far, it's probably going to be a first down.
Yeah, I think they're going to give him the first down. It looks like he's up.
They are. Move those chains. It'll be enough for a first down. And that pass was completed to Drake Mason, the 6'3", 170-pound senior.
Yeah, they had Nixon split out here at the bottom of the formation and then went away from him. We thought with one-on-one coverage on a receiver that big, you just threw it up there and let him get it. But they go the other way to Mason and pick up the first down.
Right you are. One-on-one coverage out there with Cohen Liner, the senior over there. Had a good game against Creekview as well, shutting down their talented wide receiving core. Once again, they were up 10-0 last we checked over Riverwood at the Grizzly Den. This pass is completed once again to the same wide receiver, Drake Mason. Falls forward for a gain of about 5. It'll bring up 2nd and 5 here, so Centennial finding a little bit of a pass attack.
Yeah, that short passing game really working out. You give the freshmen some easy passes to complete, give them some confidence. And look, the longer they stay in this ballgame, the more confidence they get. Might be able to take some shots downfield here later on in the ballgame.
Cherokee up 14-0. Creekview holding that 10-0 lead over Riverwood. And North Hall up 14-7 over Gilmer. So we'll keep you updated on the scores throughout. Of course, stay tuned for the Foundation Financial Halftime Show, where we'll get you updated on all that and talk about this game and more. 2nd and 5 here. It's a handoff to the freshman, Nathan Webster, and he falls forward for a gain of about 1 or 2, depending on how long the ref wants to keep on running up the sideline there.
Yeah, it looked like Webster lost his footing there as he got to the line of scrimmage trying to make a cut and slipped down to avoid a tackle. We'll make it set up another 3rd and intermediate, we'll call it, 4 or 5 yards.
We never guess right on these anyway, so no reason to talk about it. So 3rd and somewhere between 4 and 6. How about that? So that gives you an idea. They're standing right above the RR on the middle of the River Ridge field here. Once again, beautiful turf that all the Cherokee County school systems put into each of their high schools. Beautiful facilities here at River Ridge, one of the newest high schools in Cherokee County. So nice LED lights here as well, keeping us nice and warm. We want to thank Dyer, the athletic director here, for making us feel welcome. And Webster carries the ball, and he's going to fall. And just like that, you mentioned the turf monster came up and got him. I mentioned that beautiful turf, and it gets him. And he falls down, and he's a little slow to get up here.
Yeah, second time on this drive. We just talked about it on a previous down here where he goes to make a cut and then slips. Looked like he had a little bit of running room on the left-hand side of that offensive line, but nevertheless, the punter comes out again for Centennial to give it right back to River Ridge.
Martineau once again back to return his fourth punt of the day. Let's see what they do here. Just showing a regular defense here. Tired of getting fooled, so it's typical 4-3 defense here for the River Ridge Knights. The punt is up, and it's a good punt on a line here. It's going over the head of Martineau, and it's going to be real close, and it's down right at the 1-yard line. Wow, what a great play by the Centennial special teams. If they're going to get points off this one, they're going to have to go a full 99.
Yeah, that was number 17 hustling down that ball right at the 1. Took a great bounce kind of laterally, just giving them just enough time to down that ball at the 1-yard line. By far the worst position that River Ridge has had all night.
Luke Singletary, the freshman, we called him earlier in the passing game. Once again, there's a lot of youth on this Centennial team that you will see. They're trying to build a program. So they only have 4 starting seniors on the defensive side of the ball. And that, obviously, we mentioned the offensive line being of good size. Also a lot of young guys over there as well. So keep an eye on those guys coming up later in this one. Amir Morrison this time is going to get the handoff, and he's going to only fall forward for a gain of about 1 there. Did a good job to just fall forward. So 2nd and 9 here.
Yeah, running right into the arms of big number 64 there, Jack Hall on the defensive line, just squeezing out of the end zone here. So setting up second down and call it 9 here.
It's going to be a long way to go for these guys. Of course, you want to try and prevent the safety, but also don't play too conservative. This time it's a handoff to the other side, and he's only going to fall forward for a gain of about, they're going to give him 2 that time, so make it at the 4-yard line. So it'll be 3rd and 6 now for River Ridge.
Yeah, that was number 21. Don't have his name here, but he was
Clayton Forston.
There we go. Thank you, Clayton Forston coming in from the secondary to make that play on Amir Morrison again. So those safeties very big in run support tonight so far, and clock keeps ticking. Look, we're past halfway through this second quarter here. 4 minutes left to play, and River Ridge only up 7.
A lot of people going to be surprised by this score for sure. We'll talk about it on the Foundation Financial Halftime Show coming up here. This is going to be a pass. He's got one-on-one. It's Jackson Head, but good coverage out there in space by number 3. And a little bit of whistles come in, but no flags. Probably a good call there. Thought it was played well. Brandon Smith, the senior cornerback, coming up and making the coverage there. So to bring up 4th down and 6. The ball is on the 4-yard line, so Scotty Rutherford, the punter, is going to have to make some magic work here and make sure he gets this one away in a hurry.
Yeah, great defense there by Brandon Smith, not really turning his head around, but also not making contact with Jackson Head there, getting his arms up and interfering just with the vision and the sight line, so setting up a 4th down here for River Ridge.
Scotty dotting the I in the night. Snap is back. They're not bringing anybody. Kind of a surprise there, maybe trying to set up a return. And it's kind of a high punt. It takes a River Ridge bounce out to the 40-yard line, and it's going to die right at the 41-yard line. Amir Morrison out on special teams downs that one. So the Centennial Knights will have it in plus territory for the first time in this game with only 41 yards to go to pay dirt. Let's see if they can make something happen on this one.
Yeah, again, very impressed with Centennial's defense tonight. Just we come to expect a couple of River Ridge long runs here, but the Centennial Knights defense decided to dress up as the Creekview Grizzlies for Halloween here and are really slowing down this River Ridge rushing attack.
As we mentioned, Creekview pitching a shutout so far. Still a lot of football to be played in all these games. So we hope if you're at the other games or if you're here in the stands or if you're listening in the car, wherever you are, we thank you for choosing us for your high school football coverage. We hope we do you justice in that. Of course, we are just the backup team for Dave Garner. So, of course, our thoughts and prayers are with him. Hope he's getting better. We're just holding the seat warm until he can get here and handle things moving up. Julian Nixon once again comes back as we'll call him a wildcat quarterback in this one. So 4 wide receivers split out wide. And he's going to keep it off to the right-hand side, and he lowers his shoulder and makes a couple people miss, but he's only going to gain about 4 yards. 2nd and 6 out to the 38-yard line.
And you said only 4 yards, but that's a great first down play, putting him in 2nd and 6, 2nd and manageable here. And again, that's a big boy to bring down at that 220 pounds. Field announcer called it 3 yards. We thought it was 4, but anyway, he falls forward and gets, tough running down there, though, with those River Ridge defensive linemen.
I don't know if Nixon knows, but they make jerseys bigger than small. Hands it off this time to Wooten off the side. Fast little guy. Makes a couple people miss. He's still going forward. Finally wrapped up by Brian Bradley right at the first down marker. Enough for a first down. Move those chains. Centennial has a little bit of something cooking here.
Yeah, now, depending on the spot, they might call him just short. But, again, like you said, he is moving over there. Actually, I stand corrected. You were right, Will. I will never question you again. That was a great spot there. First down for Centennial, and Wooten just really able to get to hit the corner and then find a lane there.
Well, the key art is to sit next to the spotter when he marks whatever he says. That's why I just look at it with my eye. Julian Nixon makes a couple people miss here. Once again in the Wildcat formation, a gain of about 5. Seems like that's a good first down play for them as he makes a couple people miss and falls forward and met by a group of River Ridge Knights out there, but it sets up second and manageable. Yeah,
again, great first down play call here. Second and, like you said, manageable. 6 yards to go to get to the first down marker. And the Knights are on the Centennial Knights, are on the move as the clock continues to tick down to 33-32 as we click. River Ridge only up 7-0, and Centennial very much in this ball game.
Julian Nixon back at quarterback for this second down play. 5 wide receivers split out, send a man in motion. This time it's Reed up the middle, and he lowers the shoulder, and he's going to be real close to a first down. Move those chains, it'll be enough, says the spotter, and he is correct. Ronnie on the spot doing what he does. And just like that, the Knights will be set up here, and they're going to correct that spot and mark him short by about a yard. So Ronnie on the spot fails me. So, dang. You die by the sword, you live by the sword. And there I fell on it by myself. Julian Nixon, once again, the Wildcat. 5 wide receivers split out, splits Wooten in motion, and he's going to hand it off to the side. No, it's a pass by Nixon. He rolls out to the corner, and he's going to be real close to that marker. Let's see where they spot him. Going to say fourth down here.
Yeah, it looks like he was just short trying to get to the corner. I can't imagine they do anything else but get Nixon under center there and let him run. He is a tough boy to bring down. I'd be running right behind that big freshman Daniel Calhoun right about now.
You got it. 6'5", 330-pound freshman. Once again, too early to give him any stars, so they don't do that yet. But if you had to guess, probably a 4- or 5-star type recruit. So keep an eye on Centennial. Let's see what they can do here. Send another man in motion. And, oh, boy, he makes a couple people, drags them finally, and he's going to have the first down by a good bit. First contact, he was stopped dead to rights, but he carries it out, move those chains, enough for a first down out to the 20-yard line, and the Centennial Knights knocking on the door.
Finally made it into the red zone here, and then again, punishing run from the senior wide receiver. Now I guess we can call him quarterback. He's probably not a threat to throw the ball, but watch out. Centennial saw something on tape they like, and they've got something cooking here.
Absolutely they do. Once again, 5 wide receivers expect motion here. That's what they've done every time so far, from the right to the left side. And they do the same thing here. That's Nathan Webster. Fake the handoff once again. He keeps it, and he follows his blockers, lowers the shoulder, but he's wrapped up by a group of River Ridge Knights. Liam Bruton, the first one to make contact up there, followed by Dylan Broussard and Brandon Dye coming up to help make the tackle. Clock running, just over a minute left. Let's see what the River Ridge Knights can do here defensively.
Yeah, it'll be second down. It looks like 7 again. That quarterback draw going 3 to 4 yards, 3 to 5 yards every time, and we're going to have a timeout here to stop the clock by Centennial.
Centennial will take a timeout. We'll take a timeout with them. We'll take a 30-second break, and we'll be back. You're listening to the WLJA Game of the Week.
The #1 magazine to read is Enjoy Cherokee. This beautiful full-color seasonal publication keeps you in the know with articles about interesting people, fun events, hot restaurants, and cool ideas. Enjoy Cherokee is for busy people who enjoy a lifestyle magazine worth reading and keeping. You'll find Enjoy Cherokee available at most high-traffic locations and mailed free to homes throughout Cherokee County. Join the thousands who don't miss a single issue. Follow us on Facebook and find issues on enjoycherokee.com. Ask for a free publication and enjoy.
Welcome back to the Ridge in River Ridge High School in Woodstock, Georgia. I'm Will Cooper, joined alongside Arthur Mosley and Ronnie Cooper. Ronnie on the spot to my right-hand side as well. So the Centennial Knights here have a little bit of something cooking. We got 50 seconds left on the clock here in the first half. Centennial all the way down to the River Ridge 15-yard line and second down and about 6. River Ridge up 7-0 here, but like we mentioned, Centennial knocking on the door. Julian Nixon will check out of the quarterback position. They got him down here, and Tyler Larkins will check back in. Let's see what they can do here with 4 wide receivers split out, running back in the backfield. This time it's a fake handoff, dumped out to the side, and he's real close to a touchdown, but he's going to be marked about a yard short. trying to see who made that reception there. I believe that was Drake Mason out there. Yep. So his third reception of the game. Move those chains, though. It'll bring up 1st and goal from the 3-yard line. Looks like where they'll spot it.
Just a little one-on-one coverage, a little stop route. Mason makes a catch, makes a man miss, and they're knocking on the door.
36 seconds left to go. Clock rolling, obviously, with that completion. They're going to try and use as much of this clock as possible. They do have 1 timeout left. River Ridge has all 3. Men sit in motion. This time it's a handoff to him, and he's bottled up going nowhere. Really a loss of 1, and Centennial will burn one of those timeouts.
Yeah, that was Wooden again. We've seen him a few times there on that jet sweep play, and that time not able to break the defensive end there. Probably made it cut a little bit too soon. Maybe could have stretched out a little bit further, but nevertheless, he stopped. It'll be 2nd and goal from about the 4-yard line when we come back from this timeout.
So 2nd and 4. Best way to put it. Once again, 2nd and goal, so ball on the 4-yard line. 18 seconds left, no timeouts left for Centennial. So everything now you'll have to expect is in the end zone or drop it. Most likely won't go back to the ground, but we've seen it happen before, of course. They do have time, if they wanted to, get back up to the line and clock it if they needed to. You would expect the field goal unit maybe. Their field goal kicker is Joseph Leus. He's 3 for 3 on field goals with a 39-yard long. They do have a different extra point kicker. That's Martin Brayton. He's 1 for 3 on extra points, so maybe trying to find a little bit of answers on that line there. So we'll see what Centennial can draw up on this extended timeout.
Yeah, while we're waiting, just want to give a special shout-out to Liz Garner at home taking care of Dave as he's healing up. And quick story for you, Liz Garner, and I also want to give a special shout-out to my wife who's listening, Hillary Mosley there. Liz and Hillary were high school classmates in Bowling Green, Kentucky, so little trivia there for me and Dave's connection here. But as we come back, it's 2nd and goal from the 4-yard line.
I am single. The 4 wide receivers split out, 1 running back. Surveys the field. It's going to be a dump out there to Mason, and Julian catches it. Oh, my goodness. He got mossed. Wow. What a catch. The 6'4", 220-pound 4-star wide receiver headed to Knoxville later in the year. Just absolutely mossed the coverage there. And that is a touchdown for the Centennial Knights. It is 6-7 pinning the extra point with 12 seconds left to go.
Yeah, just a fade route there to the corner to Nixon, and you let your big D1 receiver go up and get it, and he does what he does. Has a height advantage there, about 5 inches over there on the defensive back. Makes it high points. The football makes a great catch. We're tied with 11 seconds. Well, pinning the extra point. We're 11 seconds left to go in the half.
So Yusuf Leus will come out to attempt this extra point, his first extra point attempt of the year. The kick is up, and it's true. He's got a great leg. And just like that, Centennial is tied it up here, 7-7. We'll keep the action right here for you as we've only got 12 seconds left to go. So, Art, you think River Ridge will come out and try and do something, or will they take this one to the half?
I think you take a knee right here and take it to the half. 11 seconds left. Centennial is playing with all the confidence right here. You don't want to do anything that might put you behind the 8 ball here. River Ridge going to receive the ball in the second, so not worth taking a risk right here in my opinion, but you get a good return. You might see a chance down the field here.
Well, my favorite thing to say is always there's a reason I'm up here talking about it and not doing it, right?
And the decision is much harder there on the sideline, as we both know.
Right, you are. That last possession was 10 plays, 51 yards, one of those being the touchdown reception. 3 minutes and 35 time of possession. You have to feel like the no penalties there was really good. Joseph Leus once again taking off duties here. First time we've seen him. Amir Morrison's the deep man for River Ridge. Everybody else coming up. And the ball got popped up. Who got it?
Oh,
and River Ridge retained possession, but man.
Crisis averted there with 9.6. Once again, looking like the Atlanta Falcons on that pitch, trying to cover it up. You just got to go. I think the receiver thought the ball might bounce or roll out of bounds. It bounces straight up in the air, and Centennial, Johnny on the spot down there to make a play happen, going for the ball. Nevertheless, River Ridge will have it at their own 28-yard line with 6 seconds left. Centennial with no timeouts left, so
River Ridge has all 3.
9.6. I almost say you take a knee here and take it to the house and talk about it at halftime.
Let's see what they do. It looks like they're going to, not in the victory formation for sure, they're going to split 3 wide receivers out here. Riley Canes joins the offensive line. Amir Morrison, the tailback. Pistol formation. And they're going to pitch it here to Amir, and he's going to carry it outside only. Steps out of bounds at 4.8 seconds left. A gain of about 3, so 2nd and 7. Out to the 31-yard line.
Latham looked like he faked the knee there real quick, maybe to draw that defensive end crashing down and give Amir a little room on the outside. But again, defensive backs great in run support here for Centennial.
Checking the sideline here. Carson getting the play call, directing Amir, telling him where to line up here. Latham's got exactly what he wants. And it's a handoff to Latham off this side. A huge hole out to the 40. Makes a couple people miss. A flag in the back end of the play, though. Time expires. So as long as it's on the offense, then they'll go to the locker room. If it's on the defense, there'll be an untimed down. We'll have to see. Most likely a hold from where it was thrown. And the signal's over. It is a hold against the River Ridge Knights. It's declined, and that'll take us to the half. Your score here is 7-7. It's all tied up between the Centennial Knights and the hometown River Ridge Knights. When we come back, we'll hop into the Foundation Financial Halftime Show, break down this game and all the other games going on around the area. You're listening to WLJA 101.1 FM.
At Foundation Financial Insurance and Wealth Management, we believe that your insurance protection and wealth management plan go hand in hand. We start by shopping your insurance with highly rated companies to find you the best combination of price and protection. With that plan in place, we can then work with you to develop a tailored financial plan. Whether you need to save money on insurance or you need a full financial plan, call us at 678-880-9571 or come by 670 East Main Street in Canton for a no-obligation consultation today. Securities and advisory services offered through Packer Land Brokerage Services Incorporated, an unaffiliated entity member FNIRA and SIPC.
Welcome to Perk Up. What can I get you?
Can I have a large, skinny, non-fat macchiato with
My 15-year-old has the taste buds of a middle-aged woman, but she's no adult. That's why we took her to Children's for her scoliosis. Their pediatric orthopedic program is nationally ranked. Their specialists understand growing bones and how to treat them. My kid ordering an adult-style coffee? Okay. Going to an adult doctor? Not so much.
Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Orthopedics. Where you take them matters. Learn more at choa.org/ortho.
It's football time, and Brian Aaron at Woodstock Outlet has some great news for all the football fans.
Hey, y'all, we are glad to be a sponsor for these games and have a great time. Stay safe out there, and we just really do love being part of our community, and thankful we got the best customers a business could possibly have. And we built a new warehouse. We got it full for the pickup or delivery, so we're ready to go. Y'all come see us, and we sure do appreciate you.
Game on! Football's back, and we're celebrating at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County. Get game-winning offers right now. Drive the best-selling 2020 Nissan Rogue, or check out the redesigned 2020 Sentra. If you try it, you'll buy it. They're that good, fun, and affordable. Catch the savings now before they're gone. Only at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County, across from the Holly Springs Walmart. Online at NissanNorthAtlanta.com. Remember, if it doesn't say Sutherland, you paid too much.
Welcome back to the Foundation Financial Halftime Show. I am your host, Will Cooper, joined alongside Arthur Mosley. We're going to be here all game, so if you get tired of our voice, I got bad news for you. We're going to be here for a whole nother half and a whole nother show after this one. So, Art, we appreciate you filling in for us, partner. You do a great job, man. I'm absolutely impressed with your first half as a play-by-play commentator. Tell me a little bit about how you feel about it.
Well, it's easier said than done. I got a little bit of piece of advice from my brother, who's coached football at just about every level from high school to the pros, and he said, "Look, if you get stuck, just say what you see." And he said that's what the professionals do anyway. And right. I said, "Look, I'm not going to be able to tell you about a 3-5 technique or a 5 technique here, but look, we're doing our best to bring you the color here. And we've got a great ball game so far, Will, 7-7. I didn't expect it. I know Dave Garner did not expect this to turn out, but here we are, tied up at halftime.
You know, Dave sends us texts, and he said, I felt like this game would be closer than expected. I talked to Dave on the phone today. That's a lie. So I'm just going to tell you that right now. But we do have some half stats for you, so here we go. Centennial, 32 plays, 83 total yards, 18 rushes for 42 yards, 8 of 10 passing. Not bad for them, 41 yards. 4 first downs, 6 penalties for 30 yards. They didn't get any more penalties in the second quarter. Good for them. 15 minutes and 20 seconds. River Ridge, though, 24 plays, 116 yards, 14 rushes for 94 yards, 5 of 9 passing, 22 yards through the ground for them. 3 first downs, 2 penalties, netting 0 yards thanks to them, and a time of possession of 8 minutes and 40 seconds. So Centennial really dominating the time of possession. You have to wonder if that Knights defense might have got worn down a little bit, especially by the combination attack of Julian Nixon and Mason Hicks out on the outside.
Yeah, they're River Ridge kind of taking a beating. A game that's being played in the trenches by Centennial, or forcing that game in the trenches and really running north and south, and that's where most of their success has been to this point. And again, we've just become accustomed to seeing Amir Morrison break a 65, 70-yard touchdown run. That has not been the case because the defensive backs, as we mentioned time and time again tonight, have been able to come up and really help out in that run support, and that's really making a difference right here as we're tied at halftime.
100%. And I tell you, the big surprise for me was Julian Nixon coming into quarterback position. I felt like none of us truly expected that, but did a great job doing that and kind of being serviceable over there. But we have a lot of games to talk about. We'll hop back into this one a little bit later, but let's jump into some of these other area games that we were so excited to talk about. And let's start getting you some scores from that one. First of all, Cherokee and Etowah doing battle over there. One of those underrated rivalries, but doing a great job over there. Of course, Coach Kemper in his first season. Cherokee coming off a tough loss to Roswell. The score that we've got over there last time we checked is 14-0 in favor of Cherokee. That game is still in the second quarter. We'll get you the halftime stats for that, I'm sure, by the time that we let this one expire. Riverwood losing 0-10 to Creekview right now. Creekview making things happen over there. Probably a little upset about the loss last week. You kind of expect they're probably a little fired up. And same thing with Cherokee. Kind of felt like Cherokee might come out and be a little angry about losing. So nothing's worse than an angry team when they're really good. And then the other scores that we have for you, North Hall and Gilmer. North Hall holding a 14-7 lead over Gilmer right now in that one. And then the last one that we have for you on tap, of course, is we're keeping up with Fannin. And have you looked at the Fannin score?
I have not looked at the Fannin score.
Fannin is up 28-0 over Model. Wow. That is a surprise and a half over there. Now, we expected Fannin to probably win that one, a favorite going into that one. But Model, a pretty good school. For all you Sequoia fans wondering where the love is, don't worry. You guys play tomorrow at 3 p.m. So if you don't want to watch the SEC game of the week at 3:30 on CBS, I know a lot of people maybe not turned on by that one. Or if you get done with the Georgia game, they'll be playing Kentucky. If you want to tune into that one on WLJA, we have that coverage here for you while you're driving on down to Chattahoochee to catch up with that one. So Chattahoochee looking for a victory in the region there. Sequoia looking to follow up with their performance last week with a victory over Cambridge for their first victory in the region. Once again, both of these teams only have one win in the region. Chattahoochee's is to Centennial that we see here, and Sequoia is one win against Cambridge this past Monday over there. So let's talk about some of these surprises, some scores we expect. Cherokee 14-0. Cherokee being big favorites hopping into this one. I think we're a little surprised that maybe Cherokee's been held to 14 points.
A little bit surprised, but we did mention this is a rivalry game, and Etowah's hallmark, it wasn't last week, but their hallmark has been their defense and holding Cherokee to 14 points. If coming in, I thought that score would be maybe 24-0 at halftime, but playing against an Etowah defense who's buckled up that chin strap.
We see what happens. Right. Have to see what happens. You're absolutely right about that. Once again, Shaw's only 3-5 against Etowah. Something to be said about that record. Of course, Coach Savella, who was there for the majority of that rivalry, he's now with West Forsyth. Wishing him the best of luck. Has a good program working over there. So we're wishing them all the best. Creekview and Riverwood. You felt like this Creekview game could maybe go a little bit more in the favor of Creekview than you predicted. You had the Grizzlies at an 8-point clip. I had them at a 6-point clip. Cal Prep had them at 9. Pat had them at 10, and Maxwell had them at 14. 10-0 over there. So the Creekview defense doing what they do, but the offense putting on a little bit of a show so far in the first half.
Yeah, 10 points. You got Cole Hasty actually scoring the only touchdown there for Creekview with a 10-0 lead over Riverwood. But again, we knew that Riverwood was going to have a tough time, and the weather's a little bit colder, so that ball is not as easy to catch always. So we haven't really seen that Riverwood in a colder environment, a primary passing team. So not surprised at the score. Creekview can go in, and one of the things I'd love to see about Creekview, we saw them a couple of weeks ago at Sequoia go up with halftime with a 24-0 lead. I'd like to see them come out of halftime and then put Riverwood away with another couple scores.
Yeah, that's the one thing that we did see against Sequoia is they had the 24-0 lead going into half, and that's what the final score was, so weren't able to do anything else. So we'd like to see Creekview add a few extra points onto that one. And, of course, that game's still in the second half over there. A.J. Swan just passed to Brady Boscherer, thanks to Patrick O'Shea over there for the Twitter. He's up 21-0. Warriors up over Etowah over there. So begs the question of why he's not texting us, but he's felt like they need to put it on Twitter. I believe somebody believed that promised us some score updates by the text, but hey, he's no Von Brown, that's for sure.
Well, hey, Snacks O'Shea does a great job writing for the Cherokee Tribune, and the film work he gets on the field level is just second to none. So even though we're not getting those direct, we appreciate Patrick for the updates tonight.
We do, and I'm looking forward to learning a lot about him from this basketball season coming up to see how he does his coverage. He does great work, not only for football, but if you're a fan of any sport, he has coverage for it, I promise. Sequoia Volleyball, Creekview Softball, of course, all the football programs and all the great basketball programs, and Etowah and Woodstock and their historic baseball programs. He does coverage for all those teams and does a fantastic job. Really a big fan of those guys. North Hall and Gilmer, 14-7, a battle of the wing tees, a battle of the run games. Kind of a low-scoring affair, but kind of what we expected from this point, I feel like.
Yeah, nothing too shocking here. I did think North Hall was probably +8, +10 over Gilmer. Impressed at Gilmer staying in this ball game at 14-7, but they're going to have to make some adjustments to slow down the wing tee and the dual rushing attack of North Hall Trojans.
Really the big surprise for me in this one is the Fannin County and Model game. Maybe folks a little bit more south are not so familiar with Fannin County, but Fannin's made a couple of waves this year. They've jumped all the way down to 2A. So if you're unfamiliar, Pickens and Gilmer were in 4A last year. Gilmer made the move down to 3A, so now you have Pickens at 4A, Gilmer at 3A, and then Fannin at 2A. So they're up 28-0 over Model right now. Model, a good team coming into this one. Fannin was favored by about 14, 15 points. Of course, there's a lot of football left to be played, but Fannin showing a lot of strength so far early in this one.
Yeah, you mentioned Fannin moving down from 3A to 2A. Fannin County made the playoffs last year in 3A, ran up against a buzzsaw we know as Cedar Grove, the eventual state champion in the first round. So Fannin County, Coach Cheatham, no stranger to success in his tenure over there at Fannin. It looks like he's got those guys moving in the right direction. They look like they're in line to really run the table and go 9-0 and get a number one seed in Region 7A over there.
Right, you are. Once again, 9-0 because of the game cancellation with Gilmer, so they won't get a 10-game season. Neither will Gilmer, but just a little bit of a note for you over there. Of course, our score here is 7-7. It's tied between the Centennial Knights and the River Ridge Knights. We're going to take our second 2-minute break of the Foundation Financial Halftime Show. We come back, we'll break down this game for you and get you prepared for the second half of action in tonight's game. You're listening to WLJA 101.1 FM.
Are you paying too much for your car or home insurance? At Foundation Financial Insurance and Wealth Management, we represent dozens of highly rated insurance companies. We can help you develop the right protection plan for your family and then search to find you the best combination of price and protection. Call us today at 678-880-9571 or come by and see us at 670 East Main Street in Canton for a free, no-obligation quote on your home, auto, business, or life insurance. Securities and advisory services offered through Packer Land Brokerage Services Incorporated, unaffiliated entity, member FINRA and SIPC.
Not every road is worthy of a postcard, but don't tell that to the new Michelin Cross Climate 2 tires. Where you see 8 hours of road trip torment with stop-and-go traffic, the Michelin Cross Climate 2 with a 60,000-mile warranty sees a Sunfield family safe drive.
The Michelin Cross Climate 2 tire is safer for longer than leading competitors. Discover more at Michelin.com.
Turn to the experts and get a premium tire with premium service. Only at Canton Tire and Wheel in Canton.
Based on resistance to gravel and severe wear testing, compared to Michelin LTX MS, the 70,000-mile warranty only applies to E-metric sizes.
There's been so much talk about distracted driving, you're probably sick of hearing about it. Well, we'd rather you be sick of hearing about it than lose your life doing it. The caring staff with Sosby Funeral Home in Canton reminds you that we all have to go sometime, but don't rush it. Wait your turn and don't drive distracted. Keep your hands on the wheel, your eyes on the road, and make sure you stay alert and arrive alive. Drive safely and help us protect our teens. They're the only future we've got. Brought to you by Sosby Funeral Home, honoring life from 191 Jarvis Street in Canton.
When you are the official sponsor of the comeback, adding a few feet to a drive matters.
First down.
So does shaving 1/10 of a second off a lap. Top-rated surgery, physical therapy, and motion analysis by the sports medicine team at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta helps young athletes not only prevent injuries, but heal faster and return stronger, ready to win. Our more than 25 orthopedic and sports medicine locations are ready to assist your athlete's comeback. To learn more, visit choa.org/sportsmed.
Welcome back to the Foundation Financial Halftime Show. I am your host, Will Cooper. Arthur Mosley had to step out for just a moment, so welcome into the broadcast for the first time. Ronnie on the spot. Ronnie Cooper, welcome in.
Here I am.
Here he is. We got him, finally. He's been with us this entire season doing the stats for us, helped a little bit last year as well. We appreciate all that you do behind the scenes for us, partner. And let's talk a little bit about what you've seen so far from the River Ridge Knights and Centennial. River Ridge obviously coming into this game pretty heavy favorites. We've seen River Ridge a lot this season. Tell me a little bit about what you think about River Ridge in this season, and more importantly, how you feel about this game.
Well, this being the third time we've seen River Ridge, I kind of wonder if they have a hangover from the game last week at Creekview.
Right.
Great win, last-second win, and they just seem flat today. They haven't been able to get anything going on offense. Haven't seen any tape on Centennial, but I've seen the statistics. They certainly don't seem like a team that would play this kind of defense. So I'm wondering if it's not more River Ridge just being flat today than it is Centennial having some great scheme.
And right you are about that, and that's the thing about River Ridge is that they're coming off 2 back-to-back victories that were extremely close. Of course, that Riverwood game a couple of weeks ago was 21-14, came down to the end, and then as we mentioned, we were there last week. Creekview falling to River Ridge over there 20-17 in overtime, took all out of them. Of course, Coach Michael Collins in his second year over there, you kind of have to expect that he might make some adjustments in the half coming out of this one, but it's not uncommon to see teams come off a little bit of a slump coming out of this one. But the big thing for me is that Centennial has a lot of talent on this offensive side, and we felt like maybe some of the COVID concerns, maybe they haven't been able to do that, but I've been really impressed with Julian Nixon, the wide receiver, seeing him at the wildcat position and also making that terrific catch in the end zone.
That's really what generated all the offense, right? When they switched to that wildcat, there's not been an answer for that. River Ridge has probably not seen that done by them on the tape they have, and they didn't seem prepared for it. And he wasn't getting huge chunks of yards, but they were turning it into 4 and 5 yards every play, and then it opened up the chance to get that touchdown in the corner of the end zone there. But Centennial looks like a much better team than everything we heard coming into this, watching them on the field tonight.
Absolutely, and of course we mentioned that they have a third quarterback that they're trying out tonight. Zaire Goff was the sophomore who was attempted the majority of the passes through 4 games for them. We don't have the 5-game stats from Cambridge. They never reported them, so we can't get you those updated stats yet, but I'm telling you that he was the majority of the passing completions, had over 800 yards on the season. Jet Miller was the other quarterback they tried out, the junior. But haven't seen either of those guys tonight. Tyler Larkin's the guy taking over for them, doing a good job so far in this one. And, of course, Drake Mason flanking Julian Nixon. You're talking about 2 big guys. Julian Nixon, 6'4", 220 pounds, Tennessee commit. Drake Mason, 6'3", 170 pound senior over there on the other side as well. Nathan Webster's carried the ball a little bit for them, 5'8", 180 pound freshman. Doing a good job over there, a big load to bring down. But, man, I'm telling you, I'm impressed with Centennial so far in this one. Of course, the offensive line has done a great job blocking for them and allowing them to have some success. I don't think anybody expected the low-scoring affair that we have in this one, but you're right about that. Maybe a little bit of a hangover can leave them left over like that, so we'll have to see what they can do in the second half. Of course, as you mentioned, doing a good job on the second half stats. The big thing for me was Centennial was able to cut down on those second quarter penalties.
Yeah, finally. I mean, every drive the first half, right, it was just one after another. But the size advantage they have when they put Nixon out there, I mean, he is so much bigger than everybody else out there. And when they decided to put him in that wildcat, there's just nobody on Creekview's line of that size. So he just falls forward 4 and 5 yards.
Well, when you talk about that size comparison, Julian Nixon, 6'4", 220 pounds. Brian Bradley, 6'3", 210 pounds at the defensive end. Brandon Dye, the sophomore defensive tackle, 5'8", 180. Dylan Prasad, kind of a hybrid of the two, 5'8", 180. Linebacker, defensive tackle, depending where you look at him. And Hunter Coleman, 6'3", 200 pounds. And it takes all the way until you get out to the second level, really, where you can get into Hunter DeRizo, the senior, 6 foot, 215 pounds, who matches him pound for pound, but not the height. 9 tackles for loss, 4 sacks and an interception coming into this one as well. And the Bruton twins, Liam and Aiden, in the linebacking position, followed up by the cornerbacks. Micah Martineau, we've seen him more on the offensive side following the game last year, but he had an interception on the year. Scotty Rutherford doing what he does, getting a lot of love from the guys at Cedarwood Tavern, of course, and Arthur Mosley as well on the, here's your second plug, so get ready for this one, on the Friday nights at the Tavern. If you haven't listened to it, you need to go over there and listen to it. They had a great guest over there. I won't spoil it for anybody, but there's your second plug of the game. You only get one more. Anything after that costs $50 per word. Connor Gross, the senior, 5'11", 155-pound strong safety over there, 55 tackles. And Chase Usher doing the duties over there, trying to handle these 2 wide receivers, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Centennial stretch things out a little bit more as you get into the second half, guys.
No, I mean, his only 2 passes more than 10 yards downfield, though, were off by 20 yards.
Right.
There's no accuracy downfield at all. He's got talent on the outside. I just don't know how you use it if you can't get the ball downfield.
Well, we were talking before this game, Art, when we found out that we were going to be calling the game together, we felt like maybe some speed sweeps might help them.
Sure, yep.
And it seems like the answer for them has been the Wildcat.
The Wildcat, and really what's been most successful, like you guys have mentioned, is Nixon right up the middle, off tackle, left or right, and kind of picking his holes in the second line of defense. And then when you Ronnie, you're right, his accuracy is not very good down the field, but hey, when you're at second and goal at the 4-yard line, just throw it to your big guy and let him go make a play.
That's exactly what you have to do. When you have talent at the high school level, you have to use it, and you have to find a way to utilize it. Doesn't matter the position listed on the depth chart. It doesn't matter what they say they're good at or what they want to do at the next level. When you have a 3, 4, or 5-star guy, it's time to bring out whatever talent you have and use it in that way. The River Ridge Knights are making their way back out onto the field. We'll take our final break of the Foundation Financial halftime show. When we come back, we'll set up the slate for this second half match, as this game is tied 7-7 between the Centennial Knights and the River Ridge Knights. You're listening to WLJA 101.1 FM and the Cherokee County Game of the Week.
Are you paying too much for your car or home insurance? At Foundation Financial Insurance and Wealth Management, we represent dozens of highly rated insurance companies. We can help you develop the right protection plan for your family and then search to find you the best combination of price and protection. Call us today at 678-880-9571 or come by and see us at 670 East Main Street in Canton for a free, no obligation quote on your home, auto, business, or life insurance. Securities and advisory services offered through Packer Land Brokerage Services Incorporated, unaffiliated entity, member FINRA and SIPC.
As an athlete, you put it all on the line each and every day. Training, skill, and dedication. It's with these same characteristics that Pinnacle Orthopedics puts it all on the line for you, ensuring that you continue to play the game you love. With 5 locations and 16 physicians and surgeons, Pinnacle Orthopedics is the team physician for Kennesaw State University, as well as for many other schools and teams. Using only the latest technologies, Pinnacle Orthopedics is dedicated to keeping you at the top of your game.
Game on! Football's back, and we're celebrating at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County. Get game-winning offers right now. Drive the best-selling 2020 Nissan Rogue, or check out the redesigned 2020 Sentra. If you try it, you'll buy it. They're that good, fun, and affordable. Catch the savings now before they're gone. Only at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County, across from the Holly Springs Walmart. Online at NissanNorthAtlanta.com. Remember, if it doesn't say Sutherland, you paid too much.
The #1 magazine to read is Enjoy Cherokee. This beautiful full-color seasonal publication keeps you in the know with articles about interesting people, fun events, hot restaurants, and cool ideas. Enjoy Cherokee is for busy people who enjoy a lifestyle magazine worth reading and keeping. You'll find Enjoy Cherokee available at most high-traffic locations and mailed free to homes throughout Cherokee County. Join the thousands who don't miss a single issue. Follow us on Facebook and find issues on EnjoyCherokee.com. Ask for a free publication and enjoy.
It is a brisk 52 degrees here at the Ridge at River Ridge High School. And we've got some halftime scores for you. We got about 2 minutes left until we get toe to meet leather here. Cherokee 21-0 up over Etowah at the half. Creekview up 10-0 over Riverwood at the half. North Hall up 21-13 over Gilmer at the half. Both those teams adding a score there at the end of the half. And Model up 28-0 Fannin up 28-0 over Model at the half. That was a big mistake there. Sorry. Lord help, I might not be welcome in Blue Ridge ever again.
Well, easy. Fannin, again, not a ton of success in program history. They did win a state title, I believe, back in the 60s and one in the 70s, but in recent memory here, off of their best start since in about 20 years or so, I believe, 13 years. I think it was 2007 here. But let's talk about this game here, Will. Centennial, a little bit of pep in their step after they come out of the locker room at halftime, tied up with, as we have, the number 10 ranked team in the state, not playing like it. And so maybe a little, Halloween tomorrow, trick or treat. Looks like a trick right now for River Ridge and a treat for Centennial.
I love the wordplay that you use, man. I tell you, that's why I had to change up my because you're not boring. You just use the constant. So you've done a great job, especially on short notice when we text you about lunchtime today and say, hey, you want to call a football game? You answer the bell, do a great job, do a better job than Von Brown could ever hope for. So we appreciate you over there. Of course, when we listen to the podcast, whenever Vaughn gets talking, we mute it for about 3 minutes because that's how long he talks, and then I unmute it so I can listen to what you say and then mute it for another 4. So it really cuts down on the podcast time. So, we appreciate that, of course, as well. But we're set for second half here. It's 7-7, as we mentioned. Centennial really surprising a lot of folks coming out in this one. Good defensive play so far. And Julian Nixon really responsible for that first touchdown. Not only the reception, but also got them down and drove them the majority of the way. You may notice that the music's a little loud where we are. We're standing right outside the press box here at the River Ridge High School. We appreciate Athletic Director Andy Dwyer allowing us to come in over here on this one. And we also appreciate the press box coach allowing us to stand outside his press box, run some power over there as well. So we have a nice light here so we can illuminate our stats and statistics and facts and figures so that we can bring you the most
also
accurate.
Appreciate River Ridge playing a little jump around, reminding me of my high school days.
Well,
I mean, I feel like we're right back in 1993-94 down in Jacksonville, Florida.
It's odd because my dad's really old. Ronnie over here is really old, and they were playing Van Halen. He's like, wow, it's just like back when I was in high school. And I think, wow, I was in high school 3 years ago. You guys are old. And they played both of those when I was in high school, so they haven't updated the playlist since then.
Hey, the classics never die, Will. The classics never die.
That's what I hope about me. I'm going to live forever. I'm already a classic.
You are a classic at the ripe old age of, we won't mention that on the air part.
Oh, thank you for that. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Don't use my inexperience against me, please. I do my best. Yosef Layoffs. He will allow toe to meet leather for the second time in this one. Amir Morris in the deep back, but only standing at about the 20-yard line here. Puts his hand up, checks with his guys, and the kick is up. And it's a deep kick right to Amir. Amir's going to have to run back to about the 5, and he fields it cleanly. Setting up a return here, out to the 20, and he's going to fall forward for about a gain to the 27-yard line, and that's where the River Ridge Knights will take up and set up shop here in the second half, see what kind of adjustments they were able to make over the halftime meeting.
Yeah, it looks like Amir had a little bit of a seam, but that hole closed quickly there for River Ridge, and they'll take over their first possession, again in pretty good field position at the 27-yard line.
Art taking a little bit of a breather there.
Getting a little bit of excited over
That's
here.
good. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. Get around me. That's what'll happen, man. I tell you. 3 wide receivers. Hand off to Amir on the left-hand side. Makes a juke move out to the 30. And stiff arms out to the 34-yard lines where I believe they'll mark him. And it's going to be out to the 35-yard line.
Yeah, big pickup of about 7 yards there by Amir, making it a second and short here. Coming on the, it says 8 yards here. I got to trust the spotter here. I'm doing a horrible job here calling this out, but second and short here for River Ridge.
I trusted him once and he burned me. So 3 wide receivers. This time it's a kind of a fake pitch, but it's finally pitched to Amir, and he's drug out of bounds. And it's going to be close to a first down, and enough for a first down. Move those chains out to the 42-yard line where they'll finally mark it.
Yeah, a little bit of an option read there by the quarterback Latham, not really making the defensive end commit. It looked like he already committed early and left Amir on an island, so not sure if Centennial's seen that option read play, but it worked well. This just well enough to get the first down out of the 42-yard line.
Once again, Latham has the lone touchdown with a 44-yard touchdown scamper earlier. This is a pitch out to the left-hand side to Amir, and he's drugged down by a group of Centennial Knights. Gain of about 2.
Yeah, Amir looked like that play was designed to be stretched out. Amir cuts it back up inside. He might have saw something we didn't see, but only got 2 yards on that again, as those linebackers and secondary really coming up in run support.
Amir Morrison checks out of the game and is replaced by number 24, Scotty Rutherford. So interesting look here. I believe this might be Scotty's first attempt at running back. He gets the carry. It runs hard right up the middle, and he gains about 4.
Yeah, Scotty got a running start there. It was almost like he was listening to Von Brown's criticism and said, I'll show you. Rutherford pickup. Makes it third and manageable here, 3rd and 4 or 5 yards here for River Ridge.
As we mentioned, Vaughn not allowed in the stadium, not allowed in Woodstock anymore either. 4 wide receivers split out. Dave Garner is allowed, just sick. So thoughts and prayers with you, buddy. Appreciate you listening as well. Carson gets the snap, surveys, quick pass to Riley Canes out over the middle, and it's enough for a first down. Move those chains, and he will be marked down at the, 44-yard line. Quick math.
Just a little skinny post there run by the tight end Canes, and running free. Great pass by Latham, and move those chains, like you said, a River Ridge first down.
Here we go. Micah Martineau checks into the slot position here. Andrew Bingham will join him on the near side of the field. Looks like Jackson Head will be alone on the top side. Amir Morrison in the backfield, and he gets the handoff. It's off to the near side of the field. Makes a couple of people miss, uses his quick burst, puts his foot in the ground, but he steps out of bounds. And a gain of about 6 on that first down run. And it'll be out to about the 39-yard line, 36-yard line.
36, yeah. They give him a mere about 7 yards on the carry. Again, just bouncing outside and finding what he can and getting out of bounds.
4 wide receivers split out. Amir Morrison in the backfield with Carson Latham. Latham surveys, good time, and he dumps it under the middle. I believe that's to Bingham, and he's carried forward, still running, and he's finally drugged down, but enough for a first down. Move those chains all the way out to the 23-yard line.
Yeah, ball didn't come out cleanly for Latham, but Bingham makes a great play, an even better run after the catch. Those yaks racking up there for Mr. Bingham there as he gets all the way down to the 23-yard line, and River Ridge is on the move.
Micah Martineau will check back into the game here. 4 wide receivers split out wide. Martineau, the lone man down at the bottom of the formation. Latham surveys, forced out of the pocket. Got a little bit of green grass in front of him, and he'll tuck it and run. And he scampers out of bounds for a gain of about 5 or 6, depending where they spot him. Spot him all the way down to the 17-yard line, so call it a gain of 6. 2nd and 4 here for the River Ridge Knights. Good play by Carson Latham.
Yeah, trying to improvise, moving out of the pocket. Not a whole lot there downfield. Receivers well covered by Centennial, but here we go. Whatever Coach Collins told them at halftime seems to have River Ridge fired up as they're marching down the field now in the red zone.
Here we go. 3 wide receivers, pistol formation. Riley Caines joins them on the offensive line. Hand off to Morrison on the bottom of the formation. A good run, and it's going to be enough for a first down. Move those chains. Finally fall forward, and Amir Morrison getting a little bit of something going here. And he will check out of the game. Scotty Rutherford will come back in and check in. And they make a few different substitutions, one of those being Micah Martineau will come out of the game and be replaced by number 4, Preston Cox, the wide receiver.
Yes, so River Ridge can still pick up a first down without getting a touchdown here with the ball at the 12-yard line.
This time there's going to be a pre-snap penalty, most likely a false start. Let's see the call. And it is, so that'll back them up 5 yards. So they do have room for a first down, as you mentioned. Not first and goal yet, but this will be 1st and 15 from the 17-yard line.
Yeah, just give Carson Latham a little bit more room to work here, throwing that ball down the field. Although when Rutherford checked in last time, he got the ball, so we'll see what they got dialed up here with 9:09 left to play here in the third quarter.
Bingham in the slot. Jackson Head out to the near side. Surveys, and he's going to Bingham, and he's one-on-one, and he makes the catch. What a catch and grab. Wow, Andrew Bingham, touchdown, River Ridge. It's 13-7, pending the extra point. Just went up and got it.
Yeah, it looks like Bingham was running a little wheel right over there on the sideline. Don't want to call it a pick play, but the inside, but the outside receiver kind of running the post. Bingham loops around underneath on that little wheel and goes up and makes a great grab. Here, pending the extra point, it's 13-7.
Once again, Scotty Rutherford does it all. Runs the ball, plays safety, kicks, punts. Call him Mr. Touchdown. Latham the holder. Snap is back, good hold, good kick, and it is up and true. So 14-7 in favor of the River Ridge Knights. We'll take a 30-second break. When we come back, we'll bring you yet another drive. You're listening to WLJA.
Welcome to Perk Up. What can I get you?
Can I have a large, skinny, non-fat macchiato with
My 15-year-old has the taste buds of a middle-aged woman, but she's no adult. That's why we took her to Children's for her scoliosis. Their pediatric orthopedic program is nationally ranked. Their specialists understand growing bones and how to treat them. My kid ordering an adult-style coffee? Okay. Going to an adult doctor? Not so much.
Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Orthopedics. Where you take them matters. Learn more at choa.org/ortho.
9 minutes left to go here in the third quarter. River Ridge, that drive, 10 plays, 77 total yards, 7 rushes, 38 on the ground, 3 of 3 passing for 39 yards, a good balanced drive for them. 4 first downs. They did have a penalty, that false start that pushed them back 5 yards, but 2 minutes and 58 minutes time of possession, a good opening drive for the Knights. Toe meets leather by Scotty, and he kicks this one high and deep right in the middle of the field, fielded about the 25-yard line. And it's fielded by number 17. Makes a couple people miss, but he's finally drugged down at about the 27-yard line. Once again, number 17 is Luke Singletary, the freshman wide receiver. We've called his name a couple of times. Slow to get up, but he'll make his way off the field here.
Yeah, this time we see them boot the ball in the middle of the field. They don't let it go out of bounds, so Similar result here as, although there's got some laundry on the field here, so let's hang on a second and wait for the official's call. As it stands, looks like the ball will be spotted at the 27 on the return.
It'll be a personal foul face mask against the River Ridge Knights, so that'll give them a free 15. So we'll mark off the yardage here as the Zebras go striping. And still marching, and they're done at about the 42-yard line.
Pretty costly penalty there, Will. If you kind of got Centennial back inside the 30-yard line. Now they're out up around the 40, and let's see who we got back out here at quarterback for Centennial as they start their first drive of the second half.
Looks like Tyler Larkins will be the one. Julian Nixon at the bottom of this formation sends a man in motion. That's Wooden, and he carries it off to the side on the jet sweep. Hard run, gain of about 5 there. Centennial in their white uniforms with blue stripes on the shoulder pads, blue numerals, and gray pants. River Ridge in the white pants, blue uniforms with the white numerals, and that brand new helmet that is sharp looking as it's got a large knight on the side here on this beautiful field in the beautiful River Ridge blue on this homecoming night at the Ridge. See the formation here. 2 wide receivers. Let's call it 3. Wooden's in the backfield, but he's kind of lined up in the slot. See where he decides to go here. There you go. Now he's in motion. Fakes the handoff to him, but it's handed off up the middle to Preston. And that's barreled forward for a gain real close to the first down. It'll be a gain of about 4, but 3rd and 1.
Kind of loosening up that River Ridge defense with that jet sweep as they fake the jet sweep handoff and then go right up the middle with the running back there. Was it Webster on the carry?
You got
I
it,
believe?
Nathan Webster, yes, sir.
And setting up a 3rd and short here for Centennial.
Big news, Daniel Calhoun coming off the field a little bit gingerly there. So obviously, as we mentioned, the freshman, 6'5", 330-pound offensive lineman who has offers from Georgia and Tennessee as a freshman. So let's see what he does over there. Looks like he's just working out something, so hopefully he'll be back soon for the Centennial Knights. They only have 10 guys on the field, so they're trying to replace him, and they do.
They got to burn a timeout here. Yeah. Play clock running down here, 2 seconds left, and when you lose one of those offensive linemen, he was kind of slow to hobble off, unassisted. The trainers didn't come out, so they never did stop the clock, and got to burn a timeout here.
That's one of those where you tell your guy, if you're hurt, just lay down.
Lay down, right.
Especially if you're kind of hobbling there, even if we can help you up off the ground. Now imagine being a trainer who gets to pick up 6'5", 330-pound Daniel Calhoun. Hope you did.
Hope you ate your spinach, at lunchtime.
Yeah, eat your Wheaties.
Yeah.
Get going there. Remember to lift with the legs, not the back. No twisting, please. Looks like Julian Nixon's going to check in at quarterback here. Not surprising on a 3rd and 1. 4 wide receivers. Let's call it 5 wide receivers, actually. They kind of have a bunch formation over to the top, stacked. That man is sent in motion from the left to the right side. Low snap, and Nixon's just going to have to fall on it.
I think that ball's turned over.
River Ridge says they've got it. And no signal yet. They do! River Ridge gets the turnover there on the 45-yard line.
Will, a little bit of foreshadowing by you telling people to bend at the knees and not the waist. Nixon, low snap. He tries to bend at the waist. He can't pick it up. Defensive line in there for River Ridge swarming in, able to come up with that recovery. They'll have the ball now in plus territory here at the 46-yard line, moving left to right on your radio dial tonight.
Absolutely. That fumble recovery was by number 55, Dylan Prasad, as he holds up the turnover shield has a beautiful River Ridge Knight on it over there.
Yeah, Prasad, we've called his name a couple times here. River Ridge getting ready to go to work here.
Latham under center here. Different look here. Amir in motion. It's a pitch out to him on the left-hand side. Good blocking out there on the perimeter. Makes a guy miss, and he's going to work for that first down back. And, oh, boy.
He was extracurricular activity.
No flag.
No flag on the play. And, look, Centennial able to stretch that play out and really limit Amir to a gain of, he did the best he could, about 3 or 4 yards there.
Well, Johnsley Barbas forced him back inside, and then his brother Jordan Barbas is the one that forced him out of bounds. So, like we said, he was drugged down a little bit late there, but no flag. It is football. Let's see, 3 wide receivers split out. Jackson head to the bottom. Have yet to call his name on a reception. Amir Morrison gets the handoff, though, and he's carrying it for a gain of about 5. So it's going to bring up 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, let's call it.
Big number 57, Adam Walker, jumping on Amir's back and dragging him down, but not after a carry. Getting about 4 or 5 yards there for Amir. 3rd and 2 here.
Walker, 6'2", 240 pounds, opposite of Peyton Major, had a quiet night. He's 6'4", 225 with offers from a few different colleges. Latham gets up under center and makes him jump yet again. Second successful ADO from the River Ridge Knights against the Centennial Knights. I believe that might have been Jordan Marks, number 64, who jumped.
Let's see, we're trying to get a number here. He's still on a knee and doesn't want to reveal to us. Big number 58 that
Jordan Gates.
time. Jordan Gates, just as big as Marks over there at 6'2", 250, and looks like he had a couple extra biscuits to push him up to 280 because that's a big boy down there.
He definitely went to KFC and got the $5 value menu, that's for sure. I don't know who 250. That scale's broken. 3 wide receivers split out. Amir Morrison in the backfield with Carson Latham. Fakes the handoff to him. He rolls out, bootleg. He's going to carry it here. And he's all the way out to the 31, 30, 31 is where they'll mark it. So only a gain of about 2, a lot of running for that, but a positive play nonetheless. 7 minutes left to go here in the third quarter. River Ridge up 14-7 over the Centennial Knights.
It looks like they were trying to get to Jackson Head, but he was well covered down here, and so Latham does a smart thing, gets what he can, gets out of bounds, and lives to fight another day.
We mentioned Jackson did not get to see action from last week due to some COVID complications. But he is back for this one. Just had a quiet night so far. Andrew Bingham's been the leading receiver for this team. Micah Martineau in the slot for them as well. Another pass here. Good time. Latham's going to run it once again, and he's forced out of bounds. And another little bit of extracurriculars.
Yeah, I don't think that was as close as the last one. Latham again getting what he can. He was trying to point to Jackson Head to release to the end zone because there's really no safety help over the top. If he would have just released a little bit, he had clear sailing on a little dump-off pass. Nonetheless, it'll be third down, about 4 yards to go from the 27-yard line.
He was forced out of bounds by Xavier Hood, the sophomore, 6'1", 150. Jaden Lewis covering Jackson Head one-on-one, doing a great job. Senior 5'11", 160-pound cornerback. And this is a handoff to Morrison off the side. He's got a big hole, and he's fast. 10. Oh, let's see. Finally pushed down, but a flag comes in on the back half of the play.
Yeah, a couple of flags down there in the area of holding. Morrison probably juked and got his receiver in a little bit of trouble to hold on to those shoulder pads as he ran past him, picking up that holding penalty here.
Whitecap will meet with the other Zebras to discuss what to do here. And it looks like they're already marching back here.
53, Cal Deegan. Big block along the edge.
And it is a hold, indeed, against the River Ridge Knights. So that'll mark off that. See where this spot is. So it is, I believe it is a spot of the foul penalty. So it's not going to be much of a penalty. As a matter of fact, it's going to be enough for a first down even with the penalty. So move those chains. Just kind of negates a big play there. And they will be set up, like we said, first down. Ball spotted at about the 27-yard line. Or, excuse me, the 23-yard line from the movement.
It's a big break for River Ridge. That penalty occurred well downfield here on a first down, and they're on the move again.
Latham out to the bootleg, passes it to Bingham. Complete, 20-15, and he's finally drug out about the 10-yard line. Let's pause for 10 seconds for station identification on WLJA.
You're listening to WLJA FM 101.1 and WLJA HD1 LJ, Woodstock, Jasper, Canton, and all of North Georgia.
Our score here, 14-7 in favor of the River Ridge Knights, and they're knocking once again with another first down. Move those chains. 6 minutes, 30 seconds left to go. I'm Will Cooper, joined alongside Arthur Mosley, the lead director of the Turd Ferguson Report. Ronnie on the spot, Ronnie Cooper to my right-hand side, and Asa Jones, Smokestacks, back on master controls. This is a pitch to Amir in the backfield, and he's wrapped up. But he makes it forward for a gain of about 2. Finally wrapped up by number 57, Evan Walker. You called him a little bit earlier. Gain of 2, 2nd and 8.
Yeah, Evan Walker, also Carter Witt up there coming up from his linebacker spot and run support there. But I'm really impressed by Centennial. They really gang to the ball. Similar to what we saw last week against Creekview. Not the same guys out there, but doing their best Creekview impression.
And they do have a lot of size on this defense, surprisingly. I think when you talked to Coach Collins a little bit earlier on the Unnamed podcast, because you used all 3 of your plugs. Man in motion here to Latham. A little bit of miscommunication, but he barrels forward, and he's finally met and hit hard. It's going to be a gain of about 6 there, though, so call it 3rd and 2.
And Latham taking a big hit as he cut back to the inside, able to hold on to that football and get positive plus yardage to make it set up a 3rd and short here. Ball just outside of the 5-yard line here.
Preston Cox checks out and brings in Hunter Coleman. He plays defensive end, but also known to be a tight end, 6'3", 200 pounds. Use talent where you got it and size where you got it. He'll line up on the left side of this formation. Watch for the run to that left-hand side. Riley Canes will join him on the left side. Power to that side. They fake the handoff to that side. Release. And it's attempted out there. I believe that was intended for Jackson Head, but it falls harmlessly to the turf. 4th and 3. Let's see if the Knights decide to go up by 2 possessions here, or if they want to try something a little different. But it looks like Scotty Rutherford's coming out to attempt a kick.
Yeah, it looks like Rutherford's coming on there. Passed a little bit wide for Jackson Head. Not sure if even if it was in his vicinity, he was able to keep those feet in bounds. So it's looking like they're going to pick up 3 just on what amounts to a little bit more than an extra point here.
Latham organizing his guys. He is the holder. Scotty Rutherford, the kicker. Perfect for the season on field goals, and thankfully I didn't jinx him there. So it is up and true, and it's 17-7 in favor of the River Ridge Knights. Let's take a 30-second break. When we come back, we'll bring you yet another drive. You're listening to WLJA.
When you are the official sponsor of the comeback, adding a few feet to a drive matters.
First down.
So does shaving 1/10 of a second off a lap. Top-rated surgery, physical therapy, and motion analysis by the sports medicine team at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta helps young athletes not only prevent injuries, but heal faster and return stronger, ready to win. Our more than 25 orthopedic and sports medicine locations are ready to assist your athlete's comeback. To learn more, visit choa.org/sportsmed.
Welcome back to the WLJA Game of the Week. We are discussing who scored the first one there, and that was Andrew Bingham who caught it. So, getting our stats right. Want to make sure that we bring you the most accurate coverage possible. Scotty Rutherford had the kick up and good, so it's 17-7 here on our Sutherland Nissan scoreboard update. 5 minutes left to go here in the third period. River Ridge had a strong showing with 10 unanswered so far. And this kick is deep and fielded about the 17 by Wooden. Makes a couple people miss, and he's going to be drugged down right at about the 29, 30-yard lines where they'll finally spot him. And that's where the Centennial Knights will set up shop. That last drive was 9 plays for 45 total yards, 7 of it on the ground with 35 yards. There were 1 of 2 passing, 10 yards there, of course. 3 first downs and 1 penalty for 10 yards. That was the hold that ended up being a first down anyway. 2 minutes and 41 seconds off the clock there, so River Ridge eating a lot of clock on these possessions here as they already have 2 scoring drives on this third quarter.
Yeah, let's see Centennial coming back out with the freshman under center at quarterback here. Let's see what they try to dial up.
Once again, Julian Nixon, the wide receiver, will be on our near side here. And they're looking his way automatically, and it's a screen, and he makes a guy miss. Still on his feet, makes another guy miss, but a good job by the Knights to surround to the ball. And he is brought down out there. A big guy to bring down, but good job by these River Ridge Knights to surround the ball. Whole group of them got there. Scotty Rutherford, Connor Gross, Hunter DeRizo out there as well for the Knights to help bring him down.
Yeah, gain of 5 yards there. Looked like it could have gone for a little bit more, but like you said, the Knights rallying to the football, limited to a 5-yard gain. But again, the freshman quarterback giving him some throws he can make and get him some confidence.
Chase Usher out there on one-on-one coverage. But now it looks like that number 24, Scotty Rutherford, will come up and help a little bit, or keep an eye on Wooden in the slot. Don't be surprised to see him go in motion, and he does. And it's another pass out there to Nixon, and just way over his head. Hard to miss a guy at 6'4", but he missed him by about a foot over his head.
Yeah, so he would have missed Newt Bowl on that pass, just way over his head there. And River Ridge playing 3-4 defense with 2 safeties over the top, trying to make sure nothing gets by him, and that ball falls harmlessly to the turf about the 47, 48-yard line of River Ridge.
Tyler Carter checks into the defense here. He'll be playing one of the middle linebacker positions as well. Larkins, once again, Liam Bruton, the middle linebacker, organizing it. 31 tackles, 1 sack, and he's bringing the blitz right up the middle, and he's hit hard, but it falls harmlessly to the turf. Wow. Just as I mentioned that 1 sack, he was hungry for another.
Yeah, Coach Collins and the defense dial up a perfect blitz at the perfect time there on a passing down. Bruton just right up the middle, and he gives himself an introduction to Mr. Larkin over there. Incomplete pass. And Centennial will have to punt it away here with 4:06 left to play in the third quarter.
Looks like they will try a new punter here. That's number 99, Josef Leaus, who also does the extra point duties. Maybe see if they can get a little bit of distance here. Maybe a little bit of a field flipper. The ball is spotted right at the 35-yard line of their own territory. 2 men back for the River Ridge Knights here. One of those is Bingham, and I believe the other one's Micah Martineau. Nice snap, but fielded cleanly. River Ridge bringing the Reds, and it's not a good punt. 40 falls forward, and it's finally fielded by, I believe, yep, that's Micah Martineau. So it's caught at the 36-yard line. So not a great punt, but serviceable enough, and River Ridge will take over for another time in this third quarter.
Yeah, Martineau kind of indecisive about whether he wanted to let that one roll and pick it up, and kind of just fell on it. Fortunately for River Ridge, that ball didn't take a funny hop because the Centennial defenders were bearing down on them here as we 3:59 left to play. It's still a 10-point game, so let's see if River Ridge can punch another one in here. They got to go get about 63 yards to do it.
Got a while to go. 4 minutes, just under 4 minutes here in the third period. 17-7. Surveys the field. Carson Latham does. It's attempted and completed out to Andrew Bingham for a gain of about 4. 2nd and 6.
Bingham, we've called his name a ton tonight. He's been the hot hand in the passing game for River Ridge. You know, Amir's kind of been bottled up for what we come to expect. So Latham's getting something going in the passing game here, and Bingham's been the recipient of that.
Riley Caines checks back into the game. He'll be on the near side of the field. River Ridge working from left to right across your radio dial. Turn around, and it's a handoff to the aforementioned Amir. Makes a miss. And he's out to the 45, 50. Makes another man miss, 40. And a good run, a gain of about 20 yards all the way out to the 39.5-yard line. Move those chains. Amir Morrison, you jinxed him, buddy.
I did. I jinxed him.
In the right way.
In the right way. Hey, we said he'd been bottled up. No laundry on the turf there. And it's a first down. River Ridge is on the move, and they're in business all the way down to the 39 of Centennial.
3 minutes left to go here in the third quarter. Latham, of course, getting the sideline check here. Jackson Head to the near side. Preston Cox to the top. He's also joined by Micah Martineau out there in the slot. It's Latham and Amir. Turned around. It's a fake handoff to Amir, and it's a keeper by Latham, and he's out across to the 40. Let's see. Good spot. No, they'll bring it back here now to the 45-yard line. The far side judge had him all the way out to the 39, but a more realistic spot. A gain of about 4, 2nd and 6.
Again, using that play fake to freeze a defensive end, to give them a little bit of room on the outside here, running to the right side of that offensive line there of River Ridge, and it'll be 2nd down and 5 again. Ridge on the move.
Not a super imposing quarterback is Carson Latham, standing at 5'11", 150 pounds. Amir Morrison, 5'7", 150 pounds. Not a lot of weight, but a lot of speed from this River Ridge team. Speaking of Amir, he makes a man miss out across the 30. Wow, he is fast. Gains about 10 yards on that carry. Move those chains out to the 26-yard line here.
Big Jack Hall down there, downfield blocking for Amir, opening up some holes. And again, a first down for River Ridge at the 26. They are on the move, Will.
Again, from left to right, Cal Began at left tackle, the senior. Jackson A., the left guard at senior. Camden Cochran, the senior, 5'11", 245 pounds. The junior on this line, Jack Hall, 6'5", 285 pounds. And the right tackle, Telmo Iturde, the senior. Amir checks back into the game. 3 wide receivers here split wide. It's a handoff to Amir on the left side of the formation. He dances forward for a gain of about 2. 2nd and 8.
Yeah, number 13 coming up from the linebacker spot. Another great tackle, getting Amir by the legs after he does a little jump cut. Looked like he had a little bit of room, but got him bottled up. Looks like Rutherford's going to check back in for River Ridge on this 2nd down and 8 play.
See what Scotty can do over there. Jackson Head, once again, the receiver, was really the leading receiver coming into this game, despite not being at the Creekview game. They've been bottled up quite nicely on this, really this entire game. It's going to be a pass all the way. Latham has good time. Surveys over the middle, and he delivers a strike. It's going to be close, and it's a touchdown. Wow, to Micah Martineau. Touchdown, River Ridge.
24-yard strike. Carson Latham threading the needle there on the post play. Got his receiver in stride right at the goal line. He falls in for a 24-yard touchdown. And just like that, pending the extra point, it's going to be a 17-point lead. Micah Martineau coming up with another big play. Had a big play last week. He's got a touchdown this week.
Good start here by River Ridge for the second half. Kind of more of what we expected to see here. As Ronnie mentioned on the Foundation Financial halftime show, maybe a little something about that hangover from a big victory, and you go back in and coach talks you out of it. Snap here, hold is good, kick is good, and it is up and through. So 24-7. We'll take a 30-second break, and we'll bring it back. You're listening to the WLJA Cherokee County Game of the Week.
Hi, it's Dave Garner, voice of the Cherokee County Game of the Week. But did you know I'm also your local Woodman Life representative and poverty prevention specialist? For over 130 years, Woodman Life has protected families with life insurance and retirement products. And as your local agent, I want to make sure that your money outlives you and that you don't outlive your money. Call or text me at 706-273-9347 or visit my Facebook page at Dave Garner Woodman Life to learn how I can help you or your loved ones today. Insurance protection, financial security, Woodman Life, standing strong for generations.
That is the golden voice of the broadcast, Diamond Dave Garner. He is homesick, not with COVID. He's going to live. I promise he's all right. But we do miss you, buddy. We miss hearing your voice, so we enjoy those 30-second commercials. So we'll see you next week, I'm sure. And we'll talk about our next week's game on the Sosby Funeral Home postgame show coming up just in a little bit. We got 2 minutes left to go here in the third quarter and a whole nother fourth quarter to bring you here. That last drive was 6 plays, 63 yards, 4 rushes, 35 yards, 2 of 2 passing, 28 pass yards, 2 first downs, and a minute 54 time of possession to make this score 24-7 on the Sutherland Nissan scoreboard update. Scotty Rutherford back to kick this one deep. Van fires him up, toe meets leather, and a nice kick here out to about the 12-yard line, and it's fielded. I believe that's Wooden on the reception, and he's out to the 30, and he's forced out of bounds. So a good return from them anyway. Out to they'll mark him down at the 31-yard line, and that's where Centennial will set up shop.
Yeah, Wooden, great return there. Thought they had him hemmed up a little bit, and Wooden just a little jitterbug out there running down the right side of the field for Centennial, setting up a first and 10 at the 31. But again, let's see if they can. I won't call this great field position, but average field position. They got to do something to take advantage now. Falling behind 17 points, and we still got a quarter to play, but 1:58 left on the clock here. They've got to get something going right now.
Right you are. Looks like that they will return the freshman quarterback out to the field. Once again, Tyler Larkins. Julian Nixon to the near side. Sends a man in motion, and it's a handoff to the jet sweep man. And he's tackled hard by number 23, I believe that's Connor Gross, and it is. Wow, a good open field tackle. Number 18, Jaden Lewis, first time we've called his name. He's a 5'11", 160-pound senior wide receiver. Plays back up to Julian Nixon and Drake Mason, but you'll see him in the 3 wide receiver set sometimes.
Yeah, Connor Gross just came out and made an absolute lick there. It'll be second down and looks like 8, so not a whole lot of jet sweep, kind of hit or miss here for Centennial. Set up another second and long here, and they've got to get some positive yards here because they don't want to have to throw the ball long on third down.
Ethan Webster joins Tyler Larkins back in. 2 true freshmen back there. 4 wide receiver set. Sends a man in motion, same man in motion. Fakes the jet sweep there, fakes the handoff. Looked like a little bit of miscommunication, and he's lucky to gain a yard back. And it looks like that Daniel Calhoun is shaken up again, but he's going to stay out on the field. And that, once again, was attended to Jaden Lewis, but handed up the middle to Ethan Webster. Hayden Bruton up on the tackle.
Yeah, big number 71. He's been playing a lot this one. A little slow to get up that time. Let's see if the defensive line for River Ridge can take advantage of that.
3rd and 7. Under a minute to go in the third quarter. They're showing blitz, and they bring it, but it's picked up nicely by the Centennial offensive line. It's dumped down deep to Wooden. Makes a man miss, and he's out across. It's going to be real close to a first down. Move those chains. It'll be enough. What a great run after the catch by Barrett Wooten, the sophomore.
Yeah, Wooten was able to absorb the hit that time, shook it off, and then got upfield just beyond the first down marker. It's a first down, and Centennial is on the move at the 43-yard line of River Ridge.
See what they can do here. 33 seconds left to go. Of course, he ran out of bounds, so that'll stop the clock. Not that we're clock watching yet. Still got plenty of football left to be played. A whole nother quarter after this one. Of course, stick around for the Sosby Funeral Home postgame show. We'll wrap up our game and all the other county games for you and area games as well. Low snap, but handled. Webster up the middle. He's got a big hole. Look out, and he's finally cut down. I believe that was Usher up there, made the tackle, and he did, helped by Connor Gross. But enough for a first down. Move those chains. The Centennial Knights got a little something working here.
Yeah, they do have something cooking. Little just right up the middle. Looks like they're running opposite of Big Calhoun there. I think it was under by Justin Jallet, the left guard there. But making some holes and again, running back, running like he shot Webster, shot out of a cannon.
Let's see. Clock at 10 seconds here. Centennial not in any hurry. Let's see if they decide they want to get a play off here. And it looks like they're going to be content with this one to go to the fourth quarter. So we see a lot of four fingers go up in the air. River Ridge holds a 17-point lead. It's 24-7. River Ridge over Centennial. We got another quarter, 30-second break, and we'll be back. You're listening to the WLJA Cherokee County Game of the Week.
Game on! Football's back, and we're celebrating at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County. Get game-winning offers right now. Drive the best-selling 2020 Nissan Rogue, or check out the redesigned 2020 Sentra. If you try it, you'll buy it. They're that good, fun, and affordable. Catch the savings now before they're gone. Only at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County, across from the Holly Springs Walmart. Online at NissanNorthAtlanta.com. Remember, if it doesn't say Sutherland, you paid too much.
Welcome back to the Ridge in Woodstock, Georgia. We're here at River Ridge High School. Of course, River Ridge won our coverage after beating the Creekview Grizzlies last week. Very proud of this River Ridge team, off to the best start in team history. Started playing football in 2007, and they are out. 2011.
I believe it was 11, yes.
My apologies.
Or it could have been 7. I could be mistaken. I want to say it was 2011.
It might be.
We'll go back to the tape.
We'll have to go back. Please don't hold that against me here. Third quarter stats, we'll go to those in just a moment. Let's see this first down play first. Weird formation here, and they have another quarterback in. We'll have to get you a number there, but it's a handoff to Webster, and he's gathered by a group. Scotty Rutherford comes up to make the tackle. Chase Usher as well, Liam Bruton. And that is Zaire Goff. So the original designated starter comes in, the 5'10", 180-pound quarterback. He's a sophomore. Third quarter stats for you. Centennial, 44 plays, 124 total yards, compared to River Ridge's 49 and 301 yards. Wow, what a disparity. River Ridge has 202 yards on the ground and 99 passing. Centennial has 71 on the ground and 53 passing. And, of course, our score here is 24-7 in favor of the River Ridge Knights. Centennial throwing a few different looks. Zaire Goff coming back into the play here. Big 5'10", 180-pound quarterback, slings it out wide, and he's out to Julian Nixon, makes a couple people miss. Out across the first down, he makes more people miss, 20, and he's finally rushed out of bounds by Liam Bruton out there on the corner. Wow. Shows that four-star explosiveness out there. Move those chains. Centennial showing a little bit of life.
Yeah, not just explosiveness, but just toughness to bring down, and great pass over there by Zaire Goff. The sophomore has passed for 804 yards and 4 touchdowns. I mean, that was through the 4 games of stats we had, but not sure why he wasn't playing earlier, but Centennial's on the move inside the red zone.
See what they can do here. Wooten in motion, but it's a handoff to Webster up the middle. Hits the hole hard, and he gains a good bit of yardage. Called a gain of 5. Bring up 2nd and 5 with 11 minutes here to go. Once again, down by 17 points. River Ridge keeps rushing fresh bodies out there. Checking guys out, checking guys in.
And kind of look at the way Goff carries himself, a little bit different than the freshman quarterback. Looks like he's been here once or twice, playing with a little bit of confidence, and it shows with the rest of the team kind of moving with a different step here on this drive at 10:40, 10:39 left as the clock ticks down.
I will say this about Centennial. I believe they have their dryer setting on high. All these uniforms are very tight on these guys.
I'm going to leave that one alone, Will.
You better. Zaire, send guy in motion, but it's a handoff right up the middle to the running back, Nathan Webster. He barrels forward for a gain of about 4. It'll bring up 3rd and 1, doing a good job running the football here in the fourth quarter late.
Yeah, Nathan Webster with about 150, 160 yards on the season coming in this game, but they're riding him on this drive. It'll be 3rd down and short. Looks like 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3 for Centennial. And again, Goff getting the play call from the sideline, looking to cash this in for a touchdown and bring them to within 2 scores.
3rd and 2, just under 10 minutes left to go. Sends Wooten in motion, but it's a handoff to Webster up the middle. He falls down, and he's lucky to get back to the original line of scrimmage. We'll call it a loss of 1, it looks like, so to bring up 4th and 3. And let's see what the Centennial Knights decide to do. They do need a field goal somewhere in there, so it looks like they're going to bring out the field goal unit.
Yeah, Webster slipped again the 3rd time. He's kind of tried to make a cut and just lost his footing, setting up looks like it's going to be a 27-yard field goal here for Centennial.
Yusuf Leaus, 3 for 3 on the year, 39-yard long, well within his range. The kick is up. It bounces off the upright, and it is no good. Wow, it looked pretty good off his foot, but he doinked it, and the goalpost still shaking. But it is no good. So the score remains 7-24 on the Sutherland Nissan scoreboard. We'll keep the action right here for you as River Ridge will do a quick turnaround and take over at the
call it the 20-yard line. Normally they mark these balls at the 20 after a missed field goal here. So standard field position, we'll call it, for high school football. And we'll see what Coach Collins and the Knights have dialed up. Again, whatever halftime speech he gave, they made the correct adjustments. And here we go here with 9:14 left to play in the ball game.
Latham surveys Amir in the backfield, turned around, hands off to Amir, and he's tripped. But Amir pushes a guy off with a stiff arm, and he's out to the 30, out across the 35, and he's finally forced out of bounds. And Amir, let's make sure he's okay. And Amir appears to be shooken up.
I'm not quite sure. He's going to stay on the sideline here. Little
ginger on that left leg.
Yeah, looks like it might be an ankle there.
So let's hope he's okay. We'll keep you updated on his status as he heads over to the training table, hopefully just to get stretched out here. We'll keep an eye on you for it. And I believe Scott Rutherford checked into the game to be the tailback for this play. 4 wide receivers split out wide. Bingham sent in motion, and it's a handoff to Bingham, and he's got a lot of room out across the 40, and a good open field tackle out there, but a flag comes in late. We'll have to keep an eye on the flag. But if it stands, it'll be a gain of about 5. Once again, Andrew Bingham on the jet sweep carry.
A great tackle by number 21 coming up, chasing Bingham all the way across the field to get him by the shoestrings here, but let's wait and check for this flag here.
Yeah, it was Clayton Forston. We've called his name quite a bit, and the holding penalty on the Knights will negate that. So I believe it'll only be a loss of 5 yards, though, from the spot of the foul, and it is. So the holding occurred right at the 40-yard line where he was tackled, so they push it back out to the 30. So it'll be first and about 14. About 6.
First down 15 for the Knights.
So they call it 15, but that's
we'll
obviously
14.5, and
must be some Woodstock math going on there.
I don't know.
But
God bless the education system in Cherokee County here.
You got to love it. Turned around, and it's a handoff to it's Rutherford, up the middle, and he gains about 4 after the penalty. So that'll bring up 2nd and 11 because it is a true 5-yard penalty.
Looks like Amir running it, stretching it out here on the sideline. He still got his helmet on. He looks like he's ready to check back in the ball game. He's going to go live to Coach Collins and say, hey, man, I'm ready. Put me back in.
Put me back in, Coach. I got to get that 70-yard breakaway. He's been bottled up quite a bit here. 3 wide receivers to the bottom in a bunch formation. Centennial almost jumped, but it looks like they didn't. Latham will go up to the line, direct his guys. Once again, joined in the backfield by Scotty Rutherford. And it's a handoff to Rutherford, and he's got a big hole, and he's carrying it out. Lowers his shoulders, still going, and he's finally drugged down right across the midfield stripe. Move those chains. River Ridge got something rolling, and Amir Morrison will check back in.
Yeah, not quite sure who it was for Centennial on the tackle, but a touchdown-saving tackle by Scotty Rutherford's ankle, and hard running there for Rutherford, the do-everything player for River Ridge.
I believe it was Desmond Leverett out there. First time we've called his name, the sophomore 5'8", 180-pound linebacker. Comes into this game with 34 tackles and a sack on the season.
Yeah, Leverett leads the team in total tackles coming into this game, so first time we've called his name tonight.
Haven't really run off to the right-hand side. They've run off to the left a lot. And this time they will run off to that right-hand side once again, and Amir is drug out of bounds.
Just a little bit of a freeze option there, freezing the defensive line and defensive end crashing down and giving Morrison just enough room to cut to the outside to pick up about 3 or 4 yards.
River Ridge sustaining the drive here, taking a lot of time off the clock. Of course, he ran out of bounds there, so that stops it. 7 minutes and 41 seconds left to go here. Ball placed on the 46-yard line, and 2nd and 6 for the River Ridge Knights as they survey over to the sideline to get the play call that they want.
Not a whole rush, not a lot of rush here, and they don't have to be here with time ticking away.
Take your time. Latham, bootleg out to the near side, and that's incomplete. Really could have been a pass interference out there as number 9 came up and put the hit on Andrew Bingham. I believe they'll call that uncatchable, but really only uncatchable because he was knocked to the ground.
Yeah, I don't know if Bingham was going to be able to climb ladder to get that one down the sideline here, but number 9 never really gave him a shot, and that was Nicholas Lavender there coming up roses there without a penalty on that call.
That was awful. That's something. Oh, boy.
Well, you had Disney last week. I
did.
Stuck with Lavender here, so, I mean, that's the best I can do. Let's go.
Oh, boy. 3rd and 6. This is a pitch out to Amir. He's got a little bit of room. We'll see if he can get the first down. He does, and more. 30, 25, 20. He's going to win it. 10, 5. Touchdown, Amir Morrison. He finds the end zone, and the River Ridge Knights are up big. It's 30-7, pending the extra point on the Sutherland Nissan scoreboard. And Amir Morrison finally breaks one.
Yeah, again, they just run that little freeze option where there's really no dive that are freezing. They're just taking that quarterback, and this time they take Latham and bring him back to the left side of the formation. He freezes. The defensive end has to make a play, and he takes the quarterback, not Amir. Amir takes a pitch, makes one man miss, and he's off to the races. 46 yards later, it's 30-7, pending the extra point.
So there is the big play that he is so well known for, and why you see his averages go up so much. The kid's averaging just under 9 yards per carry coming into this game. And once again, Scotty Rutherford will come on to attempt the extra point. Had a busy night tonight on his right foot. Latham, the hold is good. The kick is up, and it is good. So that makes it 31-7 with 7 minutes and 24 seconds left to go. We'll take a 30-second break, and we'll be back. You're listening to WLJA 101.1 FM.
It's football time, and Brian Aaron at Woodstock Outlet has some great news for all the football fans.
Hey, y'all, we are glad to be a sponsor for these games, and have a great time. Stay safe out there, and we just really do love being part of our community, and thankful we got the best customers a business could possibly have. And we built a new warehouse. We got it full for the pickup or delivery, so we're ready to go. Y'all come see us, and we sure do appreciate you.
Welcome back to the Ridge here at Woodstock, Georgia. That last drive was 7 plays, 80 total yards, 6 rushes for 90 yards. Only one attempted pass, wasn't completed. 3 first downs and a holding penalty. Minute 50 time of possession, but Morrison capped it off with a 46-yard touchdown run for the River Ridge Knights to go up big here by 3 possessions. That's 24 points, so they would have to be 3 immaculate possessions.
And from what we've seen tonight, I don't know if that's in the cards as Rutherford gets ready to boot it off here.
Toe meets leather, and it's a nice deep kick out to about the 10-yard line where it'll fall, and it'll bounce out of bounds. So there it will go out to the 35-yard line. Let's get you some score updates from around the county. First off, Fannin still up 28-0 over there. North Hall laying it on Gilmer now 33-13. Cherokee up 35-0 over Etowah. Creekview up 19-0 over Riverwood. And our score here is 31-7 in favor of the River Ridge Knights. Excuse me.
Hey, that's okay. It looks like I'm rubbing off on you. The rookie is rubbing off on the professional here. And we're going to have to go get you some remediation next week. You know, next week Dave will be back, and you'll be back to your normal, perfect self, Will.
Yeah, the idea that I'm the professional in this is a scary thought. A scary thought. There are a bunch of people in Jasper that just went, oh, boy, he is the professional in this case, isn't he? We pay this guy, huh? So I do appreciate the opportunity, of course, to call high school football games. All my friends at WLJA do a great job with that. Proud to be a part of the team. We'll be bringing you election night coverage this Tuesday. Of course, we'll have Georgia Bulldog football for you tomorrow as they play Kentucky at noon. So get ready for that if you're out on the town or up in the mountains celebrating the beautiful Halloween day in store, beautiful fall day. And a low snap is going to be fallen on by the quarterback, Zaire Goff. He's back out there, so a loss of about 5 automatically. It'll bring up, oh boy, they're going to mark it back even further, a loss of about 7.
Yeah, really no chance for Goff there. The ball kind of rolled back to him, and he did the next best thing is just to fall on it. A lot of times we see a quarterback try to pick it up. Hey, we saw Nixon try to do that earlier and lost a fumble, so Goff just kind of taking his lumps there. And the clock continues to tick. Under 7 minutes now left to play in the ball game.
So it'll be a loss of 8 officially. 2nd and 18, ball on the 27-yard line. Zaire's got 4 wide receivers to work with. Nathan Webster, once again, having a big night so far for him. He's in the backfield. Zaire will survey, turn it around. Not sure what he was doing there. And he's going to be wrapped up right on the middle. A good open field tackle out there. I believe that was Liam Bruton, excuse me.
Yeah, Goff did a little 360 back there in the backfield. Didn't really need to do that. Could have stepped up in the pocket, decided to spin, and didn't really fake out anybody. Loses 3 yards, and it'll be 3rd down in Kennesaw here coming up for Centennial.
They have to get back on the bus and climb up 575. Get back up here to Woodstock. Of course, it's a beautiful night. A little bit chillier than we're used to, but it is late October. Late October football, what we dreamed about, games that matter. Zaire gets the snap here, surveys. He's got a man deep. And a good pass deflection out there by Chase Usher. Wow. And Drake Mason gets up and even gives him a little bit of a clap for that, because he is well overmatched. Chase Usher, the senior, going up against Drake Mason, the 6'3", 170-pound senior. And on 4th and 21, I believe the playbook says to punt this one away.
Yeah, this is elementary right here. You're going to punt that ball. Good-looking pass there by Goff. The prettiest pass we've seen tonight by Centennial. But, again, like you said, Usher just making a great play to break that one up, forcing a punt here on 4th down.
Chase Usher doing a really good job so far on the defensive side, going up against some really good wide receivers. As we see him out there in the special teams here as well. It's homecoming night here at River Ridge, a beautiful night for it as well. The punt is up and it's blocked, but not fully. It was just tipped, and a flag comes out, but I believe that they'll have to pick this one up because the ball was definitely tipped.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. The official was right on top of that there, Will. It looked like he saw the touch by River Ridge here, and, he deflects the ball, rolls into the kicker. We'll have to see what the call is here.
I certainly thought he got a hand on it. If he didn't get a hand on it, that was an awful kick. But he did make contact with the punter. You are allowed to make contact with the punter if you get a hand on the ball. Any piece of it will do.
Looks like they're going to enforce this penalty.
Wow.
They're going over to take a talk to Coach O'Sullivan over there on the sideline for Centennial.
I wonder if it'll be a running into the kicker or if it'll be a personal foul.
They're going to take that penalty here and mark it off and repunt that ball.
And Coach Collins comes out to discuss it. It's a 5-yard penalty, not the personal foul, so they'll have to repunt it. And Coach Collins not going to be happy.
He's pleading his case over there.
Running into the kicker penalty. Still remains 4th down.
So it's a 2-yard punt and a 5-yard penalty, but they'll re-kick it here. So the kick here, and that's a better kick, not a great one. It's got a backspin. It'll be nice for River Ridge if it spins, and it spins out to the middle, right at the 50-yard line where it takes a little bit of a dance, and that's where it'll be spotted, right in the middle of the RR in the center of the field. 5 minutes and 20 seconds left to go here. We'll keep the action right here for you as River Ridge is up 24 points. Expect them to get a full dose of Amir Morrison here, maybe a little bit of Preston Cox, and if we're feeling festive, some Scotty Rutherford to try and ice this one away.
Yeah, I'm not sure that River Ridge has any need to put the ball in the air right here. Look, you're up by 24 points. The clock is running. Not quite sure why it's still running with, it's only a 24-point ball game here.
I don't know. I have to wonder if
I think maybe the clock operator has a hot date tonight, and he's trying to get out of here, or got a warm meal waiting for him at home. Nevertheless, 4:49, the clock is now stopped as River Ridge goes under center.
Unlike me in both cases. See here, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and it's a handoff. I believe that was Preston Cox and not Amir Morrison. But we'll double-check that for you. Kind of snuck under the play there.
Yeah, big number 20 there taking the ball. Like you said, I believe that is Preston Cox.
Tyler Carter.
Excuse me, Carter on the carry.
My apologies as well. Tyler Cox is number 4, excuse me. Amir Morrison's number 5. A lot of these early numbers for River Ridge. Number 2, Andrew Bingham. Number 5, Amir Morrison. Number 3, Riley Caines. Number 7, Carson Latham. All guys that we know by now, household names in Cherokee County, of course. Maybe possibly far beyond if they happen to claim the region victory, which this will definitely help with that. Carson Latham directs Tyler Carter. Caines moves in motion. It's a pitch out to Carter on the left-hand side, and he makes a man miss out across the 40, and he's finally drugged down, and a flag comes in on the back half, most likely be a hold where it was thrown. But Tyler Carter had enough for a first down. We'll have to see where it was. They moved the flag all the way back to the midfield stripe.
This is going to come way back here. They're going to negate the game by the junior Carter, 5'9", 180 pounds, running with a full head of steam. Hard to bring down. It's going to set up a 2nd and probably 20 for River Ridge here if they move the ball all the way back to about the 40-yard line of River Ridge.
Tyler Carter's a nice change of I don't know the best way to put it. I wouldn't say change of speed because he's pretty darn fast, but Amir Morrison, 5'7", 150. Tyler Carter, 5'9", 180. Kind of your thunder and lightning package, if you will. A little bit of a bigger bruiser. When you see Carter out there, got a big lower half, you can tell that he turns the legs very well and has the speed to get out in open space as well as he did there, but Holding negated that. So 2nd and 20 with the clock still rolling here. Just under 4 minutes left to go. Jackson Head to the bottom of the formation, Andrew Bingham to the top. Riley Caines moves from left to right. Pitch to Carter. Good catch, 40. And he's out across to the 42-yard line where they'll mark him down, a gain of 2. And it'll bring up 3rd and 18 as the clock rolls here with just over 3 minutes left to go.
Yeah, pitch almost a little bit behind Carter that time. Had to catch it off his hip pads there, but makes the most of it. Picks up 2 yards, and like you said, the clock is continuing to roll. I think River Ridge is content just to let that clock bleed out and take this victory to the house.
Ended up being a little bit of a better score again at our halftime mark. It was 7-7 going into the Foundation Financial halftime show. So River Ridge showing out here in the second half with 24 unanswered points so far. Clock now under 3 minutes. 3rd and 18 here. And it's a delayed handoff. And he makes a couple people miss. And he spins forward almost out to the midfield stripe. Once again, Tyler Carter for his 3rd consecutive carry here. And that'll bring up 4th down and about 12. And they will run the punting unit on here, and they'll have to punt it with just over 2 minutes left to go.
Yeah, nothing fancy here. 4th down and call it 13. And with the clock running down here, it's like, again, it's elementary. Centennial not burning any timeouts. I think they're content to get this ball back and run one more drive and then head back to Roswell.
Be a tough game coming into this one. Once again, River Ridge listed as the number 10 team in your 6A rankings. And the kick is up. It's a good punt this time by Scotty. And it bounces for a while, and it's going to be fielded at the 20-yard line. And a flag comes in over here on the far side of the field. Not so sure what happened over there. Micah Martineau was in the area, as well as number 18 equally for the Centennial Knights. Number 18 for them is Jaden Lewis, the wide receiver. We've called his name a couple of times. Let's see what the penalty is out there.
Might be looking at a hold here. I don't want to speculate too soon, but that was on one of the gunners down there, Martineau, coming down on coverage. So officials are talking it over.
It'll be a personal foul. Not sure what the call was there.
Looks like illegal contact. I've not seen that one.
I'm not sure. The hand gesture was like you're putting on a coat. Maybe the referee's saying he's too cold. But not so sure. But
Didn't have the helmet-to-helmet signal, but it is a 15-yard variety of a personal foul. So Centennial will be backed up again to their 10-yard line with 80 yards to go, 24 points to score, and 2 minutes left to play.
They do have all 3 timeouts, so if you're looking for the optimistic side of that, there you go. So most of the games will be winding down. Remember, we'll be having the Sosby Funeral Home postgame show coming up with yours truly and Arthur Mosley there. We'll give you the roundup of this game as well as all the other area games from our friends around the area and wrap things up nicely for you as we reveal our game for next week on the Cherokee County Game of the Week. But first, we got to handle this. A low snap once again is fielded by Zaire, and he's up forward, and he actually carries it for a decent gain back to the original line of scrimmage. Good effort by him.
Yeah, I think Zaire actually kind of scooped that ball off the turf. I think it hit the ground, and he, again, makes a chicken salad out of chicken poo here and setting up a 2nd down and 8-yard line.
I got to remember that one. I'm going to write that down. That's a Larry Pratherism right there, boy. 2nd and 9. Minute 30 left to go on the clock. Bunch formation. Hands it off to Wooden. We've called his name quite a bit. Rallied to the ball and brought down at about the 15-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd and about 5 here as the first down marker is out to the 21-yard line. Got a generous spot all the way up to the 17, so 3rd and 4.
Getting a report over from Creekview that the power is out. Grizzlies up 19-0, and got a power outage over there off Owen Store Road.
Wow.
Here, clock about to tick under 1 minute here, and on a 3rd and 4 here for Centennial.
The lights are nice and bright here. With 15 seconds left to go on the play clock. Under a minute now on the game clock. 4 wide receivers split out. Zaire checking the line, getting his call. Wooden sent in motion once again. Low snap, but handled. Hand off to Nathan Webster up the middle. Makes a couple people miss. Still driving. Chase Usher, the first one there. And he's finally driven back. Brian Bradley in on the stop as well. Dylan Prasad, we've called him. And it'll be enough for a first down. Move those chains, and the clock will stop with 37.9 seconds left to go here. Showing a little bit of life from the Centennial Knights.
See if they'll get one more playoff here. They're not really in any kind of a rush here. Centennial looking to the sideline, getting the play. If I had to guess, Webster's going to get this ball one more time here, and we'll
see you
later.
later.
Have a final, yeah.
See what we do here. Under 20 seconds now on the game clock. Play clock. Game clock is stopped.
Play clock is, well, they're both moving now.
There we go. Throws deep. He's got Julian out there, and it's caught out across the 45.
What a catch. Are we going to get a timeout here?
Let's see if the clock does stop with the first down, but it looks like time has expired. And
yeah, that's going to be the ball game.
So there you have it. The River Ridge Knights hold on to win 31-7 over the Centennial Knights. We'll take a 2-minute break and bring it back to the Sosby Funeral Home post-game show. Break down this game and all the other finals that we have from around the area. Once again, River Ridge wins this one 31-7. 2 minutes and we're back. You're listening to WLJA 101.1 FM.
There's been so much talk about distracted driving, you're probably sick of hearing about it. Well, we'd rather you be sick of hearing about it than lose your life doing it. The caring staff with Sosby Funeral Home in Canton reminds you that we all have to go sometime, but don't rush it. Wait your turn and don't drive distracted. Keep your hands on the wheel, your eyes on the road, and make sure you stay alert and arrive alive. Drive safely and help us protect our teens. They're the only future we've got. Brought to you by Sosby Funeral Home, honoring life from 191 Jarvis Street in Canton.
It's football time, and Brian Aaron at Woodstock Outlet has some great news for all the football fans.
Hey, y'all, we glad to be a sponsor for these games and have a great time. Stay safe out there, and we just really do love being part of our community, and thankful we got the best customers a business could possibly have. And we built a new warehouse. We got it full for the pickup or delivery, so we're ready to go. Y'all come see us, and we sure do appreciate you.
I want to make sure that your money outlives you and that you don't outlive your money. Hi, I'm Dave Garner, your local Woodman Life representative. When I'm not broadcasting, I'm doing my best as a poverty prevention specialist to help protect families from financial hardship. Call or visit me online today and see how I can help you and your family stay protected through needs-based life insurance and retirement options. Insurance protection, financial security. That's Woodman Life, standing strong for over 130 years.
Game on! Football's back, and we're celebrating at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County. Get game-winning offers right now. Drive the best-selling 2020 Nissan Rogue, or check out the redesigned 2020 Sentra. If you try it, you'll buy it. They're that good, fun, and affordable. Catch the savings now before they're gone. Only at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County, across from the Holly Springs Walmart. Online at NissanNorthAtlanta.com. Remember, if it doesn't say Sutherland, you paid too much.
Thank you for listening to the WLJA Cherokee County Game of the Week. My name is Will Cooper, joined alongside Arthur Mosley. Ronnie on the spot. Ronnie Cooper here for the Sosby Funeral Home post-game show. We got some final numbers and tallies for you in this game as we will break it away after this, and we'll get you some second-half numbers from everybody else, and we'll break down the finals for everybody else in the area as well. Big one for us. I think we're kind of surprised by this. Amir Morrison having the type of game that he normally has. It just didn't feel like it.
No, it didn't.
Carried the ball 26 times for 195 yards and had a touchdown. So big game from him. And I think, the other side of that is Nathan Webster felt like he had the ball a ton, carried it 13 times for 40 yards. So River Ridge did a good job, only allowing a total of 194 yards, while River Ridge racked up 399. 41 rushes for 299 yards, 11 of 16 through the air, 100 yards over there. 15 first downs, 9 penalties for 55 yards. 21 minutes and 17 seconds. Centennial was 56 plays, 194 yards, 32 on the ground, only 82 yards. 11 of 15 passing with 112 through the air, and a lot of penalties for them is the unfortunate part. 8 penalties for 50 yards, 26 minutes and 43 seconds of possession over there. So once again, River Ridge wins this one 31-7. River Ridge moves to 7-0, 3 games away from a perfect season. Got a long way to go before that, and they've got next opponent, I believe, is Sequoia.
Yeah, they will play Sequoia here next week. A team that River Ridge again has never beat. But this isn't your mother's or grandmother's River Ridge Knights, and started off slow here, like Ronnie said at halftime. Maybe a little bit of a hangover. Wake-up call here that you can't just put on that River Ridge Knight jersey and expect Centennial to fall down. They battled tough here coming over from Roswell, and when we talked to Coach Coach Collins earlier this week, he did mention, hey, this is not a gimme, and we have to remind our guys, these guys are going to come, Centennial's going to come to play, and they did in the first half. You got to think what might have been had they kept the penalties in check in the first half. And I'm not saying River Ridge doesn't come out and score 24 points in the second, but, man, if Centennial's able to come in and maybe put some more points on the board, and maybe it's 21-7 or 14-7 Centennial, that makes this game a whole lot different. Be though as it may, it does not matter. River Ridge takes care of business with an explosive second half.
Absolutely, and once again, fueled by Amir Morrison, our player of the game, 26 carries, 195 yards, and a touchdown scamper there to really ice this thing away. Not to be outdone by Carter, the backup as well, doing a good job. Not really the backup, but just kind of the duo, would be more fair to say. Jackson Head had a quiet night, but Andrew Bingham did a good job as well as Micah Martineau coming up big, as it seems like he's really solidified his spot as maybe the third receiver on this depth chart. And that's not a bad thing at all, because River Ridge likes to line up with 3 or 4 wide receivers at most times. Riley Caines had a bit of a quiet night, had a couple of good catches out there. Good for him after a rough game last week against Creekview, of course. And this River Ridge defense really did what they were supposed to do, only allowing 7 points. And they had some talented guys they had to go against this week. Yeah, they did. You're talking about a wide receiver who's going to be in Knoxville next year, and he showcased some of why he's ranked at 3 or 4 star there. Even that last reception, making a great adjustment on the ball, making a catch, and then obviously the fade route, the touchdown pass, where you get that height advantage, just like a basketball play, just go up. And he does a great job, a high point in the football. You see why Tennessee and Jeremy Pruitt are high on him. 100%. Jeremy Pruitt's got a good one, doing a good job recruiting down here in Georgia. Sorry, Georgia fans, but it is what it is. But, of course, they do have another guy, number 71, as we mentioned. He has offers from Georgia and Tennessee. The big offensive lineman over there. He's 330 pounds and 6'5". And keep an eye on him if you're a fan of the region. That's Daniel Calhoun. Give him a Google just to see how big he is, because, boy, he is a hoss. And, of course, he was injured but did a good job coming through and playing through this game. So we're glad to see him and glad to see Centennial out of this one. Of course, the final score for this one was 31-7. We're going to take our final break here on the Sosebee Funeral Home postgame show. When we come back, we'll wrap up all the other area scores that we have. We'll break down what we have, and we'll get you set for our next Cherokee County game of the week. 2 minutes, and we're back. You're listening to WLJA 101.1 FM.
There's been so much talk about distracted driving, you're probably sick of hearing about it. Well, we'd rather you be sick of hearing about it than lose your life doing it. The caring staff with Sosebee Funeral Home in Canton reminds you that we all have to go sometime, but don't rush it. Wait your turn and don't drive distracted. Keep your hands on the wheel, your eyes on the road, and make sure you stay alert and arrive alive. Drive safely and help us protect our teens. They're the only future we've got. Brought to you by Sosebee Funeral Home, honoring life from 191 Jarvis Street in Canton.
It's football time, and Brian Aaron at Woodstock Outlet has some great news for all the football fans.
Hey, y'all, we are glad to be a sponsor for these games, and have a great time. Stay safe out there, and we just really do love being part of our community, and thankful we got the best customers a business could possibly have. And we built a new warehouse. We got it full for the pickup or delivery, so we're ready to go. Y'all come see us, and we sure do appreciate you.
As an athlete, you put it all on the line each and every day. Training, skill, and dedication. It's with these same characteristics that Pinnacle Orthopedics puts it all on the line for you, ensuring that you continue to play the game you love. With 5 locations and 16 physicians and surgeons, Pinnacle Orthopedics is the team physician for Kennesaw State University, as well as for many other schools and teams. Using only the latest technologies, Pinnacle Orthopedics is dedicated to keeping you at the top of your game.
When you read Enjoy Cherokee magazine, you'll find features about interesting people, pleasing places, and exciting events. Find out more about shopping in Canton, dining in Woodstock, living in Holly Springs, exploring in Ball Ground. There's always some new and refreshing ideas between the pages of Enjoy Cherokee. Enjoy Cherokee is available in most high-traffic locations and mailed free to thousands of homes throughout Cherokee County. For your free subscription, check us out on Facebook and find past issues on EnjoyCherokee.com. Enjoy Cherokee, Cherokee County's favorite magazine.
Welcome back to the Sosebee Funeral Home post-game show. I am your host, Will Cooper, joined alongside Arthur Mosley and Ronnie on the spot here as we get ready to wrap things up for you. We got a couple of final scores and some funny stories to tell you, so just hold on. Let's get to the finals first. Fannin County claims the victory over Model 42-7. Are they ranked in Year 2A?
They are not. They're on the outside looking in.
Are they about to be?
And I tell you what, it's been a great season for Fannin County, but I look at their strength of schedule compared to some of the other 2A teams, and I've got Vidalia ranked down there at the bottom down there, and 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 at the bottom